Well, basically, we have the funk. That's what we essentially. If you're looking for funk, this is what we have here for you today on Dave's Gone By. Oh yeah, yes. One nation under a Dave. Nothing's gonna stop us now. Live on this Saturday morning. It is March 12th, 2022. Oh, thank you, dear. See, the problem is I can do the Bootsy voice, but I can't do the Dr. Funkenstein George Clinton voice. I'm not sure what that voice is, but so I'll do a little bit of the Bootsy voice. Yeah, we're here. We're live on this Saturday morning, because we're getting funky. We're getting down with the one, the only Mr. P Funk himself, George Clinton.
It's very difficult. You sound like a southerner who's shot. It's not good.
Yeah, George Clinton be talking to someone of the Jewish persuasion. He's Rabbi Solomon. I can't even.
Can you just throw like some peace signs or something? Give me a second. I want to get a photo of the Funkadelic.
Understand that my wife is encouraging this. Understand, like, if I ever have to look for another job, if I ever have to get credit for anything, or run up my credit score, someone will be looking.
I don't think that anyone's going to associate this with a credit score. If they do, I want to be part of that credit union.
Oh, but I am doing this. I am dressed like this. You have to see the whole garb here, because I'm not kidding. This is absolutely real. This is absolutely true. On this episode of Dave's Gone By, which is our 841st episode of the program, we have a music literal legend, a man who's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a fellow who's deservedly. And, well, what else can I even say about him? He's one of the, after like James Brown, one of the absolute, what was that?
Originator.
Yeah, one of the originators, the
authentic,
grandfather of
fashion icon.
That too. Honestly, he is.
What I love about George Clinton is his political stuff. Like turn the White House black.
Right.
I love the empowerment. It's like, come on now. I love the kick in the butt kind of lyrics that you dance, but you're like, wait a second.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a deep message of,
within the silliest, most ridiculous costumes, the craziest lyrics is like the mothership coming and I mean taking what Bowie did and doubling it, tripling it to the nth degree in terms of performance.
Doesn't it make it safe? Like if you say something and you dress silly.
Right. Gee, I wonder, I should probably do that in some of what I do. Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
So George Clinton, the one, the only legendary performer, he is actually going to be playing in New Jersey. And I do feel sorry for him for that. But he'll be at the New Jersey.
Does he know that?
He'll be
New Jersey, New York.
On March 18th, George Clinton will be live with like the band, whatever he's calling his band now. It's not Parla Funkadela Technicolor, whatever, because he's always changed the names of the outfits with some of the same people.
Is the band the same people?
So I mean, I don't think Bootsy's with him at this point, but he's got some folks who've been with him for years, if not decades, still in the band, still getting funky, still putting on, a show, because it's more than just funk, it's more than just music, it's a show, it's an experience, it's friggin' P-Funk, except it's not called P-Funk anymore, whatever, so George Clinton, and he'll be at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center on March 18th. Go, how often do you get to see an uber legend? Not just a legend, but like an uber legend, like a superstar. How often Paul McCartney plays, thank goodness he's still touring. Billy Joel is touring. Bruce Springsteen you can get to see. I mean, there are some. But George Clinton, man, every person who's doing hip hop and rap and whatever offshoot of that music artists are doing now on the top 40 has been influenced by and probably even sampled something by George Clinton over the years. Well, hundreds. I mean, he's probably the most sampled person, I guess, after James Brown, in terms of overall. I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong now, but I don't think so. So, anywho, very excited. That's why I'm wearing, Well, actually, I rolled out of bed in this. This is what I normally wear. I dress down for Dave's Gone By, which is this program, which I, Dave Lefkowitz, host alongside my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. Hello, Joyce.
Hey, honey, I can't. Are you in there, David?
I'm in there somewhere. I gotta take these off.
I'm very happy that you didn't have to dress up today. Most days it takes you a long time to straighten out, but you look great.
You know, I gotta tell you, I look so much better in hats because I'm bald. So whenever I cover up the head,
you and my friend Nihal always wore a hat. Some people just look good in hats, and that's a gift.
Yeah.
I could never. Square-faced people don't look good in hats.
But I wear one usually over my groin. So, you know.
Well, that's not a hat. That's a cup.
Unfortunately, in my case, it's a Dixie cup. But you know, thank you. Thank you. Wait, where's my noisemaker? Here it is.
I think your noisemaker's working.
I hate that baby. Anyway, so that's a big thing, and that's coming up within the hour on Dave's Gone By, a conversation between George Clinton and our beloved Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. It is in some ways a meeting of the minds. You know, George Clinton did tons and tons of drugs back in the day. Rabbi Saul did tons and tons of pastrami and smoked meats. So
yes.
both are probably in the same health condition.
Who knows what Saul did? We have very little knowledge of his. Most people who become devout are recovering from some naughtiness. So he might have been like a.
Well, he's not born again.
What's the guy who sings with MC Yogi? The Orthodox guy who did.
Oh, Matisyahu.
Yeah, maybe he had some. Who knows?
If anything, Rabbi Saul, they used to call him Matis Yuhu because he would drink so much Yuhu. It was kosher, it was fine. And he liked the chocolate, but he was too lazy to make egg creams. And plus, you know, because in egg cream you gotta make the seltzer, and the thing was Yuhu. There it is. It's a chocolate beverage. It's right there. You open the bottle. So for a while he got kind of addicted to that, but he stopped drinking it because it had milk in it, and he was eating too many pastrami sandwiches, and he couldn't do the timings corrected. It's a thing. It's a thing. But anyway, Rabbi Saul and George Clinton on Dave's Gone By coming up on this very episode. Also on the show, Greeley Crimes and Old Times, which is a great segment that we do every week based on stories that are legitimately in the Greeley Tribune newspaper of Northern Colorado. They gather up items that were in the paper. Well, one is phone calls that come into the Greeley and Weld County Police Dispatch, and the funniest, most ridiculous ones make it to the papers. It's public information. And then there's also a fellow there named Mike Peters, who has been on this program, and he goes through the newspapers from 100 years ago and finds the most ridiculous, most nostalgic, goofy things that were in the paper back then and plucks them out.
He wears the same outfit. When we met him in Greeley, he was wearing, I think he had a red version, but he was dressed just the same.
Mike has the funk. I wanted the funk. We wanted the funk.
You got the funk. He had the funk.
Yeah. If you ever smell me on an elevator, I have the funk too. Yeah. Yeah, but I think I mentioned that Parliament Funkadelic, the people who give up the funk, turn the White House black, Maggot Brain, one of the great guitar solos ever. What else? What am I missing? Oh, Flashlight. Come on, man. You want to get a party started. There's Flashlight, and then there's every other song ever written. But what else on Dave's Gone By? We'll have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned every week, because Joyce and I lived in Colorado for a bunch of years. That's really not an excuse, is it? I make like a connection there. It's like, well, we lived in Colorado, therefore I am writing a terrible poem about all these different places in Colorado every week. I loved Colorado, but the poems are really vile and sick and awful. And I share one with you every single week here in the Daverhood. And how can I forget, we're also doing our Today, Yesterday trivia quiz. This is, it's trivia questions based on events that literally happened. That's the second time I've used literally, and I didn't use it right this time. It's things that happened on March 12th in history. So it could have been March 12th, 1897, 1997, 597 AD, we have questions, and then we have our panel. What a great panel we're going to have today. We'll have Leslie Hoban Blake, the theater critic and director and journalist.
I hope everybody's dressed like you are, honey.
Oh, I think if they see me, they're going to be jealous and they're going to want to dress up, you know?
You look like a Victorian or like one of the ladies from what's it called?
Oh, court, yeah.
Like
Marion, and I did make Marion. She was pretty hot. But let's see who else is on the.
Maybe I should christen you.
Oh, here we go. Also on the quiz, our beloved Vicki.
Step on things and wrench my ankle.
Don't do that. Yeah, Vicki Quade, who is the co-creator of Late Night Catechism out in Chicago. Oh! I am being adorned and bedecked and bejeweled. Hold on. Rabbi Saul will be bejewed, but I'll be bejeweled here by my darling and adorable wife. Yeah.
Do you have a pocket?
I think I do. Do I have a pocket on this thing? Hold on. I do not.
Okay, so then
all my nicest shirts don't have pockets. I hate that. Anywho.
Here we go.
Thank you ever so much.
It gives a little class to it.
Boob, side boob. I'm married to that. Anywho, not bad, right? I just lost all the women in the audience.
I want to give you some hair like George Clinton.
Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I actually look like Clinton. Don't really look like him. So yeah, we funky. We get along with it with Vicki Quade. With
look at your hair. I can't do that. That's painful. Okay. For my hair.
Oh my God.
If the lights get hot, I can turn the lights off, honey. I don't want you to get warm.
Hey, turn the lighthouse black, baby. That's right.
You look very fancy.
Thank you very much.
On your Maid Marian hat?
I look like a gay pirate. I don't know what the hell I look like.
I mean, it's a Johnny Depp move, but you can. Oh my God! Somebody said.
Yes.
I don't know what it means. Okay. Oh, George Clinton turns 80, right?
Yes.
And then Steve McCain said, "Hey, Joyce, that's a cool outfit, Dave. Rabbi Saul gonna be knee deep in the funk."
He is.
Yeah.
He's usually knee deep in other things, but this time he's knee deep in the funk. We want the funk. George Clinton's going to give us the funk. But please let me not forget to call out and say.
You got to thank Steve for his engagement.
Thank you, Steve. Steve
He's
M.
the most funkiest so far.
Thank you. But I'm remiss in not mentioning. I've got Leslie Hoban Blake playing the game, Vicki Quade playing the game, and our recent friend Keith Alessi. Now Keith was on our show just a couple of weeks ago when he had his solo Play with Music. Tomatoes Tried to Kill Me, but Banjos Saved My Life. That was the name of it. It was his true solo show, his story that he did at the Frigid Festival in New York just a month or so ago. Just actually a couple of weeks ago. And he is all is about really his surviving cancer and falling in love with playing banjos and giving up the corporate life. I mean, he told the story of it on this program, but he was so witty and charming and fun to have on the show that we invited him back to play the Today Yesterday trivia quiz. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be coming up in about an hour, a little less than an hour at this point. So yes, lots of fun to do on this episode of Dave's Gone By here in the Daverhood. But before we get to all that, got some other stuff just to talk about. What? Tell me.
I can't speak in English. He said Dave looks like the Artagonon.
D'Artagnan from Three Musketeers.
Yes, of funk.
Whoa! I was kind of more going for the Cardinal Richelieu look, but hey, no, thank you ever so much. Who does this? There's a little bit of Boy George in this, do you think? Or no?
Boy George would be more pretty, more like
makeup.
No makeup.
Oh yeah, I hate makeup. Yeah.
Boy George would be more like. He would wear that, but he would have like good foundation, heavy eye makeup. He would be more like made up. You don't wear makeup.
This show has no foundation at all. It's on quick sand. That's all this program is, ladies and gentlemen. Every week here from 9 until noon on this Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. For more information about it, davesgoneby.com. How was your week, my darling dear?
It was very good. I made it through.
Yeah.
I had like migraine, and then I felt better. So.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. You had a migraine in the middle of it.
It was only really bad 2 days. I think it was because we had a 60-degree day.
Yeah.
And then I was wearing a denim jacket, and then the next day it was like cold and snainy, and my head can't take barometric pressure.
Speaking of, I'm so glad you brought that up, because speaking of temperature and weather, I've got a story to tell. It seems every week I have a story to tell about my coworkers, and one particular coworker who's just great. He's just great.
You have a lovely group. They're a nice group of
They're wonderful people. They're
great.
A lot
of solidarity and a lot of
yeah. We really get along. I mean, it's just I knock wood 100 times. I really lucked out in a lot of ways with my day job. I can't give, I could, but I'm not going to give exact particulars, but I work for a school district locally, and I work with other people in the technical department of the school. Fine. And we're all in this, there's not a lot of us. There's like 4 people in a big room, and then our boss, who's got his own office. But usually, half the time doesn't stay in his office because it's like 50 degrees in there, and there's nothing they can do about it. For months, before he came in, our prior boss, who got to retire.
She's the one who hired you.
Yeah, she's also the one who put a space heater in the room that I now use next to my desk because it's cold in our area, right? So the only negative thing is for all of us, it's very hard to regulate the temperature in our building. We've got a small 1-story building. I mean, it's not small for us. There's only a few people in it, but it's not like this big office thing. It's not like this huge school with 2 or 3 floors. It's just this building with a few fairly big rooms. And for some reason, whatever it is, they can't control the temperature. So it'll be, like 74 in one room and 61 in another. What?
Part of some experiment, an educational experiment, like Milgram. They're like, so how is the temperature today? And the mail lady who uses your bathroom is not a mail lady at all. She's the experimenter.
That's like she's just checking the calibrations.
Like, let me just do some photos and some,
Yeah,
how you doing? She's really recording that and sending that back on a wire. So.
There are days when our only visitor, who isn't one of us, is the mail person coming around at 3 or a quarter after 3, and basically she's not even coming to. So we get virtually no mail for our department. She's just like she's touring around the neighborhood all day, and she comes to use our bathroom. So she'll ring the bell after to come over and say, "Yes, go ahead, use the bathroom." Which during the pandemic, I was always like, "Do you really have to?" But she's fine. Anyway,
felt because there were so few people, it was safer for her too.
Yeah. No, but she always aimed and missed. It was not good. No, I'm kidding.
Did she at least go in the restroom?
I hope. Anywho, so here's the thing. And we just I've been working there for a year and a half. The people I'm with, most of them have been there longer than I have, and they're just used to it. They're like, oh, they know by like 11 o'clock in the morning we've got to get our space heaters going. We've got to do this and that, or we just pile on the coat. It doesn't get that cold, but it's uncomfortable, right? So our most recent hire, our most recent addition, he's a fixer. He likes to kind of tamper and fix things, which is great because we'll get, we distribute laptop computers to children.
It's very hard to take you seriously.
we just one of our gigs during the pandemic was we were one of the schools that really figured out how to go remote and how children could actually, for months at a time, learn from home. Was it ideal? No. But we made it happen. And one of the ways to do that was that the district funded getting laptop computers or iPads for the little ones into the hands of kids so that they could literally Zoom learn all day long. But we're talking about first, second, third, fourth graders, giving them equipment that could have run NASA.
They're like hackers. Those kids they're not doing like that baby coding. They're like, hey, you're on the dark web. How do we get the answers for these kids are like, it's not like.
Oh, we can monitor their stuff. You'd be amazed how many children are looking like porn.
Really?
A few, not really. No, I mean,
maybe it's the parents.
The 5th and 6th graders and stuff.
Be the parents using the
they don't know that we literally can track every movement because they're on our machine, and we track their movements, which is really disgusting in the morning, especially if they've had bad food the night before. But where am I going with this? So that's what we do. We give them laptops, and invariably this year more than last, because they're bringing them back and forth. This screen is smashed. This thing broke. The keys Have you ever popped a key off a
Yes,
laptop?
yes.
Oh, yeah, really?
Look what I did to my own laptop.
Yeah,
I
well,
cannot
yeah.
judge.
Yeah, no, but you know,
Maybe
it
I'm a third
happens
grader.
over the course of a long
Yeah, but
year.
kids drop it. Look,
Yeah.
it's
Stuff happens. But what's really great is, especially in this time when it's so hard to get replacement parts for everything, because everything was blockaded and so forth, we have a guy now who will say, oh, yeah, I take an old broken one, I use the part from here, I put it on here. We don't have to send this out to be fixed. I fix it now. I put new screen, boom, boom. So that's wonderful. So he's always trying to figure out ways to fix things and to make things better. And this week, this is so fantastic. This week he came up with the idea that, so we're all sitting there and it's a cold day outside. It's a cold day inside. And so, we got our heaters going. We're blowing on our hands. It's like, this is ridiculous. He goes,
oh no.
No, this is true. This is because they did this. This is genius.
So it might be hurtful. It might be an ouchie.
Not at all.
Okay.
We have a thermostat in our room, but we're not allowed to touch it, right? So it's not like we can say, oh, it really should be 72 in the room. It's only 66. Maybe if we pop the thermostat to 80, it'll go to 72, right? We don't have nor should we have the ability to do that. It's all preset. It's all sensors. It's all of this. And so the sensors are badly calibrated.
Remember at University of Northern Colorado, my office apparently had to control the temperature for the whole clinic.
Right.
The whole audiology clinic. I never changed the setting on my thermostat ever. But whenever they'd have to change it, they'd come up to my room, and how could my office control a whole floor? Does that make sense to you? A whole audiology clinic?
The way these things were put in back 20, 50, it does make sense. Or
remember when they called to fix a leak in the pipe, and they fixed it, and then what happened was the pipe broke, and a cascade of waterfall missed my office, thank God, but got everyone in its path. It was like a tidal wave.
Yeah.
So sometimes fixing is not fixing.
Yeah, but our guy fixed it. This is absolutely amazing. Did I tell you this week or not? Did I tell you how he did this? No. This is fantastic. Who would think of it? He would think of this. So he says, well, the sensor is obviously broken, or the sensor is reading things wrong, or the sensor is basing the temperature in here by the temperature in the hallway if you keep the hallway door open because it's cold. Whatever it is, we have to fool our thermostat into thinking it's colder in here than it is, so that, because it's right near the hallway, so that it will kick on.
Open the windows.
Not even that. Well, yeah, then we'll really freeze.
Put something like cold air.
He goes to the refrigerator.
Oh my God.
And he takes a plastic baggie, and he fills it with a couple of ice cubes.
Oh my God.
He takes a rubber band.
Oh my God.
He ties the baggie with the ice cube in it over the thermostat. So now the thermostat is only feeling the ice cube baggie, which is immediately telling the thermostat, oh my God, it's not like 73, 74 in here. It's cold in here. It's like 61. I better chug. And for the rest of the day, and the days that he's been doing this all week, we've had perfectly warm temps. We haven't even put on our space heaters. It's like, it's wonderful.
Don't forget to tell your audience about daylight savings time.
I will. Okay. I mean, to think of this, right? To come up with, we're going to fool the thermostat. Now, granted, I hope no one gets electrocuted by him doing this. I hope it isn't a really bad idea on some level, or that it's going to corrode and rust whatever metals are in the thermostat. But this is why human beings are amazing. This is why you have a Copernicus, you have a Da Vinci, you have a Bill Gates, or who are the guys, Wozniak and
just the smart people.
Because you have a guy who looks at a thermostat and says, we can't change it.
He's really MacGyver. I don't want to say it, but I think he's like, you could give him like chewing gum, a rubber band, and like a paperclip, and he could build like a car,
Right. I mean,
people just have that technical,
And this is the same guy last week I was talking about who decided, we get some birds. I want to see more birds, because one of the nice things is that we have windows on one of.
Maybe we should get him a little birdhouse birdhouse. Like go on Amazon and get a birdhouse kit.
That'd be sweet.
They
He
have
wanted to
them.
build one himself, just
No,
like cut a Coke
but
bottle.
you can get a pre-made birdhouse kit, and he just has to put it together, and then you could have it for the office. Maybe
That would be cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because we're getting sparrows. We get this couple. They come every day. A male and female cardinal, which is something. The male's very beautiful red.
Maybe we have to make sure they fit in the house. It has to be a big enough.
Well, we want to see them. I want to give them an indoor bedroom.
No, so why don't we get like the one your neighbor had that it looks like a honeycomb, but you fill it with seed, and it's good, and they all go near it.
Huh. I used to do that with women. I would fill them with my seed, and they'd all come near me. But you know, we're turning the Lighthouse Dave today on Dave's Gone By. But you know, so I wanted to tell that. I wanted to just give a shout out to my friend. You're right. We should get because I want to see more. Because it's the same darn birds. It's
now that the weather's nice, you know.
Yeah, but I would like to see because in our neighborhood, sometimes we do get these green parrots. Amazingly, I don't explain. We talked about
from the church. Remember that church rectory that had like hundreds of them?
But that's a mile away. They all live in this tree.
But they probably know where to go.
Yeah, but we get a couple of them sometimes on the phone wires. They stay up. But wouldn't it be fantastic to get little parrots walking around?
It'd be gorgeous.
Yeah. And sometimes you get a blue jay.
You could set up like a live feed where you could videotape them and put that throughout the school district.
That'd be cool. Bird cam.
Birds of Shaw, not Shaw, birds of.
Yeah, of our area,
and
yeah.
Then everybody could look at it, and it'd be very calming, like they do with the tiger at the zoo or the, you know.
I think that is actually a great idea, and it would be a very cool school.
And it's educational for kids because they could look at it, and it's not bad, and they could learn about like ecology. I don't know what the aviary. I don't know what children learn about, but
well, you know, they're third graders. It's like, oh, that's a bird. It has feathers on it. It doesn't have legs, or it does have. What am I saying? Of course, it has legs, but it doesn't have knees. Do birds have knees?
I don't know. Maybe some do.
Like reticulated, like can they bend? No, birds can't bend their things, right? I don't think they can. Anywho, I don't know where I'm going with this. I knocked out the cord, the plug on my thing. Oh my goodness, everything's going askew.
Steven's very involved. They said nice thermostat hack.
Nice what?
Thermostat hack.
Thermostat, isn't it? Yeah, isn't that brilliant? So you mentioned a few minutes ago, reminding everybody that we lose an hour of sleep.
Hold on.
Late tonight, 2 a.m., but you can set your clocks before you go to sleep. It is going to be that change, and I've ranted literally since the first season, 20 years ago, that this show went on the air. I did a rant of why on earth are we still doing this with the back and forth and the time change, and I hate it, and I do look forward to this, even though we lose the hour of sleep, that it's kind of great that you get out of the office if you work, say, I work earlier than 9 to 5, but you're a 9 to 5, you come out of the office, and you still have 2 more hours of daylight. It feels like, oh, you know, if I go shopping now, it's not like, it's nighttime, you know? You feel like, ooh, there's more day ahead. I haven't lost all the sunshine of this particular day of my life by getting up at 6, it's dark out, going in the shower, getting the car, just getting light, and by the time you come out the door in the winter, gone. Now it's like, ooh, 7:15, finally, the sun's gonna start going down. And we're still like 3 months away even from summer, from the equinox. But, so I wanted to remind you of that, apropos of something that I was hammering about for the past few years.
No, honey, don't get yourself heated.
No, I won't.
I know.
Because this is fantastic, amazing. What the hell were they waiting for? Decades news. Now, you know that I'm, apart from what I do here, I'm a theater writer, theater journalist, theater critic. I used to run Playbill.com. What the hell else did I? I've written theater reviews for Backstage.
You did very lovely dancing. You were
I did exotic dancing for StageBuddy.com. I did a whole lot of.
You were like a one-winged dove.
What?
It's like a one-winged dove.
So, the news came today that a decision was made, right? So they put out the information today that there will be a 2022 Tony Awards for Broadway theater, right? Because Broadway's going to be very busy this spring, and we've had already several shows opening for this season, right? It will be a quote-unquote normal season of shows on Broadway. The first one in like
Is there
3
ever
years.
a normal season of shows?
So, great, wonderful, fine. The news is that CBS TV is going to go, but it's not going to be some kind of weird hybrid thing. There will be a 1 hour pre-thing with some awards being given, but there will be a full 3 hour ceremony with production numbers and everything covered by CBS television from
Will there
8
be
to
any
11.
free stuff for the non-TV people?
It will. That's the thing. Remember last year they did that Peacock thing? Nobody
Yeah.
watched. It was.
Yeah, we couldn't see anything.
Well, no, we
Yeah.
were. That was a special thing. We
Well, that was a Tony thing.
stupidly. I thought it would be fun to send Rabbi Sol into the press room,
Yeah.
and it was the most miserable night because it was just like waiting,
It was like being
waiting.
at the airport, you know, when you're waiting for the
Yeah.
plane, and then you're like watching something, and then you're like, oh wait, there's the plane,
And then
it's not.
you know we'd be sitting there watching some celebrity answer 1 or 2 questions, then be hustled off. Rabbi Sol got to ask like 2 questions the whole night. He talked to Diablo Cody, and I think also the book writer for If
A lot
Not
of
Jagged Little
people.
Pill, another
Yeah, a
show.
lot of people.
Forgive me for was it Lopez? Might have been Robert Lopez.
It was.
Oh, from not what was the name of the playwright actually
We
for
have the pictures.
the play about it was this epic about gay people and E.M. Forster and
Yes.
forgive me for forgetting the name. But anywho, for like 4 minutes of content, it was just like 4 dead hours of like, oh my God, I'll
What
never
are we
do this
doing
again.
This year? What's the difference?
Well, this year we're just gonna watch the show. CBS is not gonna be. Don't have to pay for Peacock to watch the Tony Awards.
That's
It'll be on
good.
CBS. But this is maybe the first time ever. This is fantastic,
What?
and it's what I've been complaining about and cussing
Oh,
about.
the
for years.
pre-awards? The pre-awards?
No, they're still doing a whole hour of
I
like
know.
best lighting design for a short play.
Yeah,
Off
but
off.
don't their parents want to see them on TV?
Yeah, I know. But here's the deal. Unlike sporting events and most other awards, I think, for years and years, and it never affected me. I never thought about it until Joyce and I moved to Colorado, right? And I was in Colorado. I was blogging for StageBuddy.com. I was still writing for stuff. I was doing stuff for the show. And so I would be trying to keep track of what was going on and watch the Tony Awards, right? And then tweet and blog and put on Stage Buddy's website. And stuff would be happening. And it occurred to me very quickly that I was watching these things happen on TV. And already people on the East Coast knew these things 2 hours earlier. It was like there was a 1 hour tape delay for those of us watching in middle time, because Colorado's not quite West Coast, it's mountain time. And then, God knows, I wonder if California people, when they would watch the Tony Awards on Tony night, I think they had a 2 hour delay. Because it would be starting at 8 p.m. Eastern in New York, and I think Californians started to watch the same thing at 9, but everything that they were watching had already happened, which didn't matter so much 20 years ago, before social media. Back then it was sort of like, you could probably get on the phone with someone in the other coast and say, oh, who won, who did this, but you didn't.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, I'm going to watch the show. It'll be new to me. It is plausibly live, if you will, and I'll watch it, and then fine.
Oh,
But
you would report winners that have won already.
Yeah. But over the past decade or two, this idea of sitting there in another state, 2,000, 1,000, 3,000 miles away, and then there's no excitement, because if you have any kind of Facebook feed or Twitter feed at all, you're watching someone accepting the award and say, congratulations, and this is what they said, and 45 minutes later it finally comes on your television. It's the most ridiculous, pointless thing.
That is true.
This year, they listened to me,
Wow.
and the Tonys will be live across the board, across the country. So if you're in California, 5 p.m., put on your TV, you'll be watching the Tonys live. If we're in Colorado, 6 p.m., put on your TV, maybe 7, whatever. No, it'll be 7, 2 hours difference, 6 p.m., putting on in Colorado. The Tonys will be as live for you as it is for all the New Yorkers, which I think is fantastic. And I applaud, much belated and delayed, absolutely applaud the Tony Administration Committee or the Theater League, the Broadway League, the American Theater Wing is like, slow clap in the sense of what took you so. See, Jews don't have the funk. We really, really don't have. We got no rhythm at all. Maybe George Clinton will give us some in just a few minutes. So I wanted to talk about that, and then I wanted to talk about one more thing before we get to George Clinton, before we get to the Today Yesterday trivia quiz, before we get to Greeley Crimes and Old Times and our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Oh, so much fun on Dave's Gone By today. But there was one other thing that just, and this still goes to what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago on a different rant of my very minor skirmish with YouTube over there pulling down one of our shows because ostensibly I did a straw man thing and looked at both sides of the Joe Rogan controversy of saying, yes, vaccines are good, but you're allowed to say you don't like vaccines, and someone on YouTube or heard that and said, oh, he's hurting the public health by saying there's another side to the vaccine issue. We better pull this down. Huh?
When was this? This is the same.
It was like a couple of weeks ago. They pulled down like one of my episodes.
But they never did any more. Just that.
Well, I spoke at length on that episode.
Somebody reported it, David. They're not going to find them.
What do you mean?
It had to be reported.
Maybe it was someone complaining. Maybe maybe someone tuned in the middle of what I was saying and didn't get the whole gist, and then says, oh my God, there's somebody giving false vax or anti-vax information. You better pull this down because someone might be listening and this will give them an excuse not to get the vaccine. And if they do that, they won't die, but then they'll spread it to someone else who will die, and then he'll be responsible. And YouTube will be responsible. It's like such unbelievable, virtue signaling bullshit. So, okay, I went on that rant, and I'm always very, very anti.
You're lit.
Well, what's this whole thing of not wokeism, censorship? I'm anti.
No, I think you're not. I think you're just anti anything if it's just posing.
Ooh, that too.
I think that's a deeper thing. Like, if you feel something's legit, like if someone has a real reason against something, I think you're support it. But I think you don't like posers. So people who say people do something just because it's the moda, dentro de la moda.
Yes.
Or people who do something because they think it's the right thing. I think that's what you dislike.
Yeah.
The underlying thing is if you do something with integrity, it's fine. But if you think you're doing it just because it's the right thing to do.
Well, no. If you think if you're just looking like it's the right thing to do, and you don't really give. So there's two things that come up with this. This week is absolutely hysterical. There's a Canadian restaurant, or I should say, a restaurant in Canada. Now, one of the national dishes of Canada, which we all know is known for its cuisine, Canada has this stuff called poutine, which I'm sure is very tasty. It's got 8 million calories per bite.
It came from New Orleans, that kind of.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Seems New Orleans.
But the French part, the French Creole or whoever brought that up to Canada, to the French part. Poutine or poutin. Well, no, poutin is very different. But it's French fries. I know, I'm sorry, potato. French fries with gravy and cheese or something. It's probably very tasty. And a great thing for a bunch of people to get together, have a party, and just go, finger food dipping. Messy, but tasty.
College students would like it if they're drinking.
Well, this restaurant realized or felt that poutine, Poutine, which has been a dish that Canadians have been eating, God help them, for more than decades, even probably.
They had national health.
That's right. It sounds like the word poutine sounds like Putin, Putin, right? And they said, in order to express our solidarity with the people dying in Ukraine, we're not going to call it poutine anymore. People will stop ordering poutine because it sounds like Putin. So therefore, we're calling it. It wasn't freedom fried gravy. I forget the stupid name that they came up for it. But I'm like, really? I mean, I get your heart really is in the right place, but can you think of something more useless and stupid to do? and it really is like the freedom fries thing. When the French wouldn't help us after, was it, or we wouldn't go into, it wasn't Trashkanistan. What was the country? It was Iraq. I think the French didn't want to go help us with Iraq. And then all the Republicans were like, we're not calling them French fries, it's freedom fries. Like, oh, go to hell. You know,
But
it's ridiculous.
It's that.
What?
Oh. So Vincent just wrote and said, Vincent James said, gotta run for another broadcast. We'll catch the rest on replay and have fun.
Oh, Vincent just gave us a great shout out this week saying how this program, recently we've had on Judy Collins, we've also had on
a lot of musicians, the funky, the funk, yeah.
George Clinton, we've had Matthew Sweet on.
The banjo.
And we've got, fingers crossed, knock wood, we've got Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits coming up in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, thank you, Vincent. It's true. We really have some great musicians on the show. Robin Hitchcock and Christine Lavin and Jane Siberry. I mean, great people. Okay, so, poutine is one thing. And then we have, I got a press release in the mail, because as I mentioned, I'm a theater person. So I got a press release in the mail for an off-Broadway show. And it sounds, it sounds interesting. It sounds like an interesting, different kind of a premise than what I'm usually getting. It isn't about somebody transgendered who's, it ain't that. It's this play, takes place in World War II, about these three German women who check Hitler's food before he eats it to make sure he's not getting poisoned.
That's a horrible job.
Well, it is.
We love Goethe, but then one day she ate she ate the coleslaw. And
well, kings back in the day, they would have the jesters, or they would have the court taster, and it was fabulous. You got to eat all these delicious foods until the one day.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
that one lunch, that one bologna sandwich, which you can almost tell.
This is what I don't get. What happens if it's a slow-acting poison? So, like, if you eat it at like 11 o'clock, you really should wait till like 12 or 1 for the people to eat it. But you may not have enough time. I mean, that's Or they could be putting a little poison over time. So eventually,
it kills both the king and the judge. But if they both start getting sick at the same time, they kind of know. But anywho, it's not about the plot of this, or it's not about. It's the name of the play is called Hitler's Tasters. Hitler's Tasters. Okay, fine. And that's going to be playing off Broadway in like late March, early April. Go see it. It sounds interesting. It's three women. That's the job they have. Certainly a different premise for a play. But when they sent me the press release on the show, the press agent, in the text of the message, in the the body of the thing when you open it, they spell Hitler H*TLER.
Oh, because they don't want to support him.
Because they're honestly afraid that if they send a message with Hitler in it,
it'll get blocked.
The spam blockers will kick in, the fake, the PC police.
Isn't it like, how people don't spell God, right? They don't.
That's different. Go figure that God and Hitler are the two names you would spell with a.
I wonder if that's part of it.
No, it's part of, oh my God, we're on the lookout for, white racist nationalist organizations. We don't want people sending this via our email server. We don't want to support, what do they call the Proud Boys, the white nationalists. So therefore, we're going to pre-send, or the press person is so scared of sending this out, it's like, it won't even go through if I put just the word Hitler in the friggin', I guess the name of the show, but I've got to spell it like with an asterisk. I mean, which just means that if white nationalists and racists and the Ku Klux Klan and the American Nazi Party, whatever they call themselves now, want to send each other emails, all they have to do is put an asterisk in Hitler's name too.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop anything.
I don't understand it.
Oh, my God. I hope I'm so infamous one day that people have to spell it like D''FVESGONEBY. I'm like, that's the guy. He's the guy who blew up a school. Yeah,
it's like, I call you DGB. Just DGB.
DGB, yeah, I know. But so this over fear, and it's just there's so much pushback about it. There's so much like, there's things that we want to be careful about, And then there's things like, oh, come on. There's a guy, I don't know how you feel about this. There's a guy, and after this we'll get right to George Clinton, who he's like the associate principal or assistant principal had to step in for a teacher who was out that day.
Never good.
Huh?
I told you when I was training in like a nurses training, like pre-nursing, I volunteered at a hospital and was Catholic, and so all the nurses were on strike. So the nun, like they were going out that day, right? And so I was there with the nun, and she started giving out like narcotics to everyone. And you can't do that. Like you have to.
Good God.
You have to like if people.
Oh.
So you have to track it. So any narcotic, like you have, and I knew
Yeah.
to do it. So you like, but when Sister was trained as a nurse, you didn't have to do it. So like, even my mom said like they should track it. So like people like she would go around. She'd like sometimes they give out alcohol. She didn't do that, but she would just be giving out stuff like Sister Feel Good, you know. And then when the nurses came back, they were like, why didn't she track the narcotics? It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And she didn't know, and the patients were like, "Where's the nun?" And like, "Where's the nun?" So when a higher person fills in,
right.
She was an administrator, and you haven't been in the job for a while, bad things can happen.
The sister nurse can. They're
like, "Where's the nun lady?"
Yeah.
She would people were like.
Well, this is not. No, the thing about this is he didn't give out drugs to second graders. He didn't do anything. He said, oh, I'd like to read a book that I find is really funny and I love and my kids love and all this. So he gets the book, and it's a children's picture book called I Lost My Butt. And it's about this little child who can't find his tuchus.
Why do you...
I know, not the best choice for a book.
What's the thing? Like, what are they teaching? Is it
it's funny. It's cute. It's a kid who loses his derriere.
And this guy who's going to lose his job.
He did.
Good.
What do you mean good?
Like, if you're substituting, like, I know this, like, okay, so professors are different. They're narcissistic. But when you fill in for somebody, normally you say, hey, David, what are you teaching in that class? Do you have PowerPoint? What's the themes? You don't go in and just start doing anything.
When I sat in for a graduate class and I had to teach one of the UNC professors, I brought in the children's butt book. They had a fabulous time. They loved it. I got the best reviews of my life.
I think you're lying.
Well, I am not lying when I say that joining us in about 1 minute is one of the absolute legends of modern popular music, especially funky music, especially rap, hip. I mean, he's just one of the progenitors. If you'll forgive me for using that word, PR asterisk GENITR. Just in case Facebook or YouTube is watching. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the absolute legends of the business. He's going to be playing at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center on March 18th with his band. Now, I've got to share my screen. I hope I do this correctly. Let me do this. Desktop 1. All right, now you see all my stuff on my desktop. The next voices and faces you see will be the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi. There we go. Rabbi Sal Solomon. There he is. And that guy on the other side of your screen, he's on my left. George Clinton. Yeah, we are Funkalicious on Dave's Gone By.
Make it full screen, honey.
Oh, that's right. Full screen it. And
wow,
here.
You actually have more stuff on than George does.
Yeah, look, he looks like a normal person.
Yes, he looks like a guy on the Long Island Railroad.
And I'm predicting a fabulous conversation between Rabbi Sal Solomon and George Clinton right now on Dave's Gone By. Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sal Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. Oh, my goodness, the man that you see laughing there, he's got the funk. I'm telling you, I got the funk here, but we won't talk about that. This is a man who is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He has an honorary doctorate of music from Berklee College of Music, and amazingly enough, the remade version, let's not talk about virgins, the remade version of the original Mothership is actually in the Smithsonian Institution. This is the man who created Parliament and Funkadelic. Oh my God, so much to talk about with the one, the only George Clinton. Yippee-yi, yippee-oi, yippee-vey, shalom to you. Welcome.
Hey, boy, I like that. Come on, that was a hip one. I like that.
Thank you ever so much. What a joy to see you. You look fantastic. You look great because you're going to be performing. You're going to be on March 18th at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. Here's the question I'm sure you're asked all the time. You're God willing. You look great, 80 years old. Why are you still out there doing shows like this?
It's about the funk.
Well,
you never get enough funk.
True.
I gotta have it. I gotta have it. You know, it's about the funk. So, you know, I try to retire, I try to quit, but every time I turn around, the stage is calling me. The funk say, get back out of here. So I'm out here now with my grandkids and the grandkids and kids of the other members of the band. 3GP, we call them third generation P-Funk. You know.
This is so. Now, have you been able to consolidate? Because back in the day, there was George Clinton, there was Parliament, then there was Funkadelic, then you had another band. Can it all be like one thing now under a group?
We call it the Parlor Funkadelic Mint Thing.
Okay. All right. Hard to.
One word.
Yeah.
One word.
Parlor Funkadelic Mint Thing, was it?
Yes.
I like it. I like that you do your thing. If you had. Because you are not only so important in your own music, but you've been sampled so much. Do you have a favorite sampling that other artists have done of your work?
That's hard to do because for different reasons you like the samples. Like I like Public Enemy use of the samples because they arranged them and they use so many. They did it to create a arrangement of a song. Some people use them as a loop. To loop it and repeat, and so that's the different style. So like for the loop, I'll say Digital Underground, Humpty Dance, and all of those things. And Tupac when they was all doing that. Public Enemy, like I said, for the arrangement. But then there's so many other clever samples that it's hard to pick one.
Now, in terms of your own music, you're still writing and composing. So let me ask you, when you do that, and you sit down either at the piano or a Wurlitzer thing or a guitar, are you just like George Clinton, the guy, or do you have to go into like that Funkensteiny character to write the stuff that you do?
All different variations of that. You know, some of them it's like that. Some of them I do, like they say, freestyle, right in the studio. And then some of the all the different musicians, you know, you got a Bernie Worrell, a Bootsy Collin, a Gary Scheider. You can choose David Spratt. You can choose what style you want to do, and then I'll do what kids do. I'll sample myself. That's the new concept: sampling, computer, electronics. I'll sample my record, or I'll sample somebody else's record that already sampled me.
Wow! So it chases its own tail in a way. That's actually
yes. But the dog that chases its tail will be busy.
Well, let me ask you: when you go into the studio, how "quote unquote" ready is a composition? Do you work on it with lots of sampling at home in your basement or whatever, or then go in, or you just come in like Dylan used to do?
Again,
the lyrics and boom.
Again, depending on if I wrote the song out first or like a Knee Deep, which already had the song and done. A lot of them, the band grooves, we'll go into a groove on stage, and we get a pocket, and everybody like it, and we like what's going on. I have to remember that, record this part, and go in the studio and start with that, and that becomes a new song. We pretty much know the groove gonna work because we've tried it on the stage already, and you just have to make sense of it. Now, if it's a chant, you have to make it make sense by adding more lyrics to it to make it a complete story. Or nowadays you can leave it like that because they write nonsensical. Again, that used to be the thing in the 60s. You know, you wrote this far out lyrics, you know, poetic, you know, metaphors and things. Well, we call it nonsensical. You know, like when the Beatles, it becomes artsy-fartsy to do it like that.
Cuckoo-ca-choo. Yeah, exactly.
Cuckoo-ca-choo. That's
Let me ask you though, did you take because people might maybe they don't anymore, I'm sure, but back in the day when you were writing not just nonsense but comedy, fun lyrics, did people tell you, oh, we would love you, but you're so scatological, you're the doo-doo and the shit and the thing and the, what do you say to that?
I've succeeded. You know, when they can see it, especially when they say it with a smile on their face, you know, because it's funky. You know what I'm saying? And like having worked in a barber shop, you hear all the varied metaphors for everything. You know, you get all kind of people's opinion about everything and their point of view, and it just depends on if it's the old preacher or the pimp. I say pimp, preachers, and politicians they all got a rap.
Yeah, sure. And by the way, as a hairstylist, is there anything I can do with these, or I'm basically stuck? It's like
I can do everything but give you a pump.
I don't even want to know. But then we're talking, by the way, with truly, I can put this word in front of it, the great George Clinton. So, God, so many questions to ask you. About the whole UFO idea. There's two stories. I don't know if they're separate or if they were the same, and they're confused in my mind. This idea of what inspired all that UFO stuff. One is that you actually had sort of a sighting of a UFO thing, and another was that you wandered onto the set of a classic old horror movie. The Outdoor School.
They're two different stories.
Okay.
We wandered onto a set of a horror movie. Was Night of the Living Dead. We was already on tour, and we did wander onto the set of that in Pennsylvania, and we was tripping, of course, and it freaked us out. You know, that was, you know, years later we found out that's what it was, the Night of the Living Dead. We didn't know what it was.
Nobody told you?
We knew it was a movie set.
You knew. Okay.
After we saw the people walking across, scared the shit out of them. We realized the movie, but we didn't know what. Years later we found out that's what it was. The other one was Bootsy and I was in Toronto, and we had an encounter. Whatever it was, lights, like a laser from the sky. Three of them, one, two, third one hit the car we were in. And like mercury out of a thermometer, you know, bead up like oil and water. When it hit the car, it beat it and rolled off the side. Street lights went out, dimming, and we had to like drive like 10 blocks before we could see street lights again. That happened for real. That was Bootsy and I. We wasn't on drugs. We just come through the border from Canada. So that was our excuse. We couldn't be on drugs then, you know. So it was definitely cool. But we didn't talk about it, scared the hell out of us. We didn't even bother to talk about it, you know, because years later I realized that.
This was before social media. I mean, did you look for it in the local papers? Did you anything? Nothing.
We didn't even talk about it. It scared the shit out of us so bad. And we had just done the album Mothership Connection. We had already done that.
So that was after. Okay.
Wow. But it hadn't come out yet. We had done it and it hadn't come out yet. You know, it came out like a week, 2 weeks later.
See, if you had a good publicist, they would have tied it to your album.
We didn't tell nobody.
I know. I kid. Let me ask you something, though. We were talking about tripping. I have issues with drug stuff. You did a ton and 10 tons and 50 million tons of drugs. Now, you know, you're a grandpa, a great-grandpa, is it? What do you tell, like, youngins? Don't be like me. What do you say to them?
It's hard to even say anything. I mean, you can hope I do by example, you know, that I can do it, because kids love to do what you say don't do. No is the greatest aphrodisiac in the world. You know, it's
for me, but yeah, I get that. But
you know, and so I have a hard time doing it. I do have thoughts about it. I'd be scared to have to take the stuff that they have to take in this day and time. But I guess that's the way people felt when we were doing psychedelics. They thought the same thing. But the whole country is a medical society. Everything you hear in politics is about my meds, my drugs, my prescription. The whole world is based on that for some reason. And so all you're getting is somebody else's version of it, whether you get it in the street. It's about the money that, the Oxycontin people make. It's all the same, but it just, so I don't know what to talk about. So I don't get into it trying to preach, because I know you can make it worse by doing that. But I try to give an example that I'd be scared. I'd be scared to do what I did if it was starting right now. Back then, I think Woodstock, the Vietnam War, had a lot to do with what was going on. I think that, to me, that was sacred for a minute. Those kids, that whole peace movement, ended that war. But when it was over, the drugs part of it was over too. Most people didn't know that. Once Woodstock happened, after Woodstock, it was acid, $20 of this, drugs, watch out for the brown. You never heard that stuff before Woodstock. Once it became money involved, once it used to be you want to share a tab, want to share a joint. After Woodstock is you want to buy a joint. And once that happened, I didn't know it then. It took me 20 years to figure out there was no more acid. It wasn't everything is beautiful no more. It had changed. Once the war was over, it was over.
And then Altamont happened. We have just a couple more minutes.
We got one more. We got one more. They called me now.
Oh my God! Wow! Well, first of all, thank you very, very much, of course. But let me now ask you, because related to the drug things, Sly Stone. You guys were great friends.
Still one of my best friends.
How's he doing?
He's doing good. He's chilling out now, and I hope he gets some music out. That's another thing. I'm missing some music. I know he got lots of good stuff, but he's doing good now.
Well, last question for you then, George Clinton. What is the latest song composition that you have written in the past week or two or three? I can see you're busy painting with your hands with the stuff on there, but what about musically?
Ooh Dog. Watch out for that. Ooh Dog.
Ooh Dog.
Yeah.
Well, what is it like? Is it funky?
It's gonna be. I tell you what, we got Ben Crump on there, barking. The Q dogs.
Well, my goodness. I know your dogs are barking. You have to go run and do another interview. But my gosh, thank you so much. And please, everybody, go see in New Jersey at the Performing Arts Center, Friday, March 18th, George Clinton. Oh, I am wishing you the funk.
Thank you, man. Take care.
Shalom.
Shalom.
What else can I say to that, ladies and gentlemen? George Clinton in the Daverhood here on Dave's Gone By, live on this Saturday morning. It is March 12th, 2022, and we have other guests joining us in the Daverhood, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe not quite as funky as Mr. Clinton was, but we do have a musician. We do have an actress and playwright, and we are hoping against all hope, that we will have a theater critic, and there she goes. I think we can get all our people on at just the same time, which is fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Dave's Gone By. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. My darling and adorable wife Joyce is here, and we are joined, first of all, by our brand recent new friend. His name is Keith Alessi, and he did.
Can we just say that George Clinton was awesome?
Well, yeah, and huge thanks to George Clinton for being on the Daverhood today.
Somebody said a great interview, Rabbi. They like the Clinton.
Well, then, who said?
Steve.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Steve. Steve is, I'm not going to say his last name. He works for a very important docu-television series, and I've known him for a bunch of years. He's a great guy. So thank you, Stephen. But thank you also to our friend Keith Alessi, the name of his show, which he just did at the New York Frigid Festival.
Oh, my God.
What?
I saw the mothership land in Central Park in '96. His granddaughter hit the stage then.
What? Well, that's why he's a great grandpa. He is literally a great grandpa. But Keith Alessi, his show is Tomatoes Tried to Kill Me, but Banjos Saved My Life. And he's been doing the show for a bunch of years. He just did it in the Frigid Festival. He is joined by Vicki Quade. Vicki, she knows a little bit about doing theater because she co-created Late Night Catechism, and she's doing Bible Bingo. And is there an Easter Bunny Bingo now? Is that the?
It starts next weekend.
And that's in Chicago at the Greenhouse
Right.
Theater. But first of all, let's talk to Keith. Keith, welcome back to the Daverhood. How did your show go at the Frigid Fest?
Doing well. We had a nice run, nice audiences in New York, and I drove cross country, and I'm performing here at the Rogue Festival in Fresno, California.
The Rogue, R-O-G-U-E, Rogue Festival?
Yeah, it's a fringe. They just call it the Rogue. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So did any stories, like being in New York, doing the show, whether it's related to your show or just being in New York for a week, anything happened, anything fun or funny?
Well, it was interesting. I performed in New York back in 2019 at the Soho there. And, living in Southwest Virginia, COVID was kind of less of a big deal. My nearest neighbor's a quarter mile away, so social distancing is not a concept that was new to us. Yeah. New Yorkers were a lot edgier this time. I think being cooped up for 2 years, people were just a little edgier than I remember them being, but we had a good experience.
Anybody was rude or nasty to you, or do you have?
No, I wouldn't put it quite that way. It's just everybody seemed to be on a bit of an edge that was perceptible because, again, for folks in Southwest Virginia, the pandemic really wasn't. It was inconvenient, but it wasn't a big change in lifestyle.
Well, all right. So let me ask you. As someone who's done a fringe festival with a show or two myself, I'm kind of curious, was there how many times did you do the show? Like 5 times in the Frigid?
7.
7 times. Was there one night where that was better than all the others? For no good reason, but it just was. Yeah.
Well, opening night, a banjo fell off its stand, a wall fell down. So it was a real gong show.
What do you mean a wall fell? Hold it. What do you mean a wall fell down? How does a wall fall down?
They have those rotating doors on the back of the stage, and they had put some material on it for the shows that were projecting visuals, and that came down. And right at the most emotional point in the show, everything's quiet. There's this big crash behind me, so it was a great way to get started. But I tend to find that as the runs go on, the show gets stronger. So certainly one of the last couple were probably the best, but it was real good because got some good feedback there, and then in the cross country ride workshop the show, and we're workshopping it still here in Fresno because we're getting ready to go to Edinburgh in August. So
what is left to do? Because you've been doing the show a long time. What is left to change? What is left to, aside from that, you having lived a bit longer? What's new?
Well, I've done the show about 150, 160 times, but it's never the same twice in a row. We just keep getting more precise, shifting just small changes now are making huge differences. And really the run here in Fresno, I'm kind of regretting not having had exactly this script in New York because I think it moves along a little better. But at Edinburgh, you got to cut your show down to about 50 minutes. I've done this as a 90. On the fringe circuit, I do it as a 60. So I got to carve 10 more minutes out of it. And I think I know where I'm going to get it because I've tried it a couple times here in Fresno, and I think we'll be able to get it done.
Now, Vicki, how's your show going, or shows? Because, as I said, Bible Bingo and Late Night Catechism, you're prepping. Have you done Easter Bunny Bingo before, or is this brand new?
Oh, no, we did it in 2020 over the weekend of March 13, 14, 15. And if you know that weekend.
Yeah. Wow.
So I did all my advertising and my printing of flyers and posters, and everything was out. And we did one weekend, and I luckily had the Sunday performance filmed, and I had a full copy of that performance. So, and that was the only weekend we did. We did the one, that was it. And then the next year, because I had it, I was able to stream it. So in 2021, I streamed it, and now we're back.
I want to see that. Can you send me like a private link?
I can.
I don't want to pay for it, but if I can watch it for free. Question.
One of the guests.
I have lots of links I can send you for free.
Conway needs to
Wait,
rename Erica Conway, or
I don't have Facebook up. I'm just seeing Zoom.
oh yeah, but Erica Conway should rename.
That's me. I'm using somebody else.
I was like, wait a second.
That's
I'm
right,
in-
Erica.
Because I
I'm in Fresno and I'm on the lam, so I'm using a pseudonym here.
I thought maybe you had an operation.
No, because I used
Are you a former weatherman? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, we have our portraying with us. We have Leslie. Leslie, yes, you are there. Leslie, welcome.
Hi, what's the hat for?
Oh, on our show or earlier in the pre-recorded, we had Rabbi Saul Solomon interviewing the one, the only, the truly legendary George Clinton, founder of Parliament Funkadelic.
Oh my goodness, the funk guy.
Yeah.
it was great.
So this is
We're talking about the funk guy, right?
This was right. What?
The funk guy, Clinton, the funk guy.
And Parliament, and yes, yeah. You're a little. Are you on your phone or on
Yep.
your computer, Leslie? Because you're freezing now. Oh dear. Oh, there
Yeah,
you
there
go.
No, I'm on my computer.
Okay, you're good. Don't move around a lot, Leslie.
Me?
Yeah, just.
I'm just trying to get some light because it's dark out here.
Yeah, I know.
And without ambient light, I don't have any light at all.
I take ambient.
Good morning.
It mellows me out. By the way, Leslie, this is we're playing the game with, of course, Vicki, Quade, and with Keith Alessi, who was just in the Frigid New York Festival with his show. Tomatoes tried to kill me, but banjos saved my life, and he's going to be bringing that show to Fresno and then to the Edinburgh Fringe. So yay for him!
I love it. I love it. That's almost the longest title I've ever heard. It's great.
So here's a very short title for our quiz. It's called Today, Yesterday. Now, Keith, you've never played it before, so I'm going to give you the rules. They're pretty simple. It has to do with me asking trivia questions of our panel. Each question is worth 2 points apiece. There's 3 rounds. There's 9 questions and a tiebreaker, and we do the tiebreaker whether we need it or not. There's no prizes. There's no nothing. It's just an hour of stupidity. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I will ask all of you to do, but I'll start with our brand new friend, Keith Alessi. Keith, can you pick a number between 1 and 6 and tell me what it is?
2.
Keith with a number 2. Okay, and Vicki?
I'll do 4.
Vicki with a 4, and Leslie, your usual?
And I'll make it a cheer. I'll do 6.
We'll do it. So what?
So you got 2, 4, 6. But you can't rhyme it.
Who do we appreciate?
I know.
Is
We need an 8. We don't have an 8.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a virtual die. You can't see me doing it, but I actually have a real dice thing. I have the Heinz Ketchup dice game, but it's so noisy and so irritating. I'm not going to.
David Potato has been all over the news this week.
What do you mean?
Yeah, there were all kinds of things about Potato. I don't remember any of them right now, but there was Potato. Put it in your.
I will. I will Google it
and look for it. Yeah.
Well, it is St. Patrick's. It's Irish.
No, I mean
potatoes.
aside from St. Patrick's. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
As an Irish person, I appreciate a partially Irish person.
And by the way, Keith, Joyce wants to say, wait, he hasn't played? Have you played Rogue yet? No, you're playing Rogue soon.
Yeah, I got one show. I got my last show today. I had 5 shows here.
Oh, so yeah, you got good. Where from where? Just tell him she's linking to that. You got a really good review from somewhere.
Yeah.
From Rogue.
From the festival itself.
I'm not sure yet.
Leslie, do you see that I have included the Dyeing the River Green in Chicago as my
I
background?
see that. I thought maybe it was just a dead river. I wasn't sure,
No, it's the tradition of dyeing the river green, which they did today.
Vicki, are you?
You know that without the Green River, that could almost be a New York. I can send you something from the New York waterways that look like that as well.
Yeah, well,
Vicki,
we do
are
the
you-
same thing, as though they have
Vicki?
to. Yes,
Vicki, are you in Chicago?
I am.
Yeah, I used to live there.
Oh, where?
Oh,
I lived up on Halstead and Sheffield.
Oh my God, I live near Montrose and Lakeshore.
There you go. We were neighbors.
Very close.
Old home week. All right. By the way, getting back to the game, I rolled, Leslie, a 6. Would you like to go first, second, or third?
I wish to go second, please.
Second,
Oh, Leslie.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, no, one doesn't work well for me. I need to hear other people's thought processes.
Well, Vicki, I just rolled a 4. Do you want to go first or third?
I'll go first.
Wow, Vicki.
Brave
yeah.
girl.
I think one time you went first and you won the game, so that's pretty
It-
good.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, that was an anomaly.
This means Keith goes third, which is good. You get to see how the game kind of works. before you have to answer a question. And it really is that simple. I'm going to ask a question. It's worth 2 points. And Vicki, this first question is for you. And by the way, Keith, just so you know, pretty much for all the questions, the idea is all these things happened in history on March 12th, since today is March 12th. So everything is based on something that happened in that year. Whether
Keith, so you know, Keith, so you know, he uses that as a jumping off point. So if the potato was invented in 1812 on this date, he will say, and the eyes of a potato, what color are your eyes? And then he goes on from there.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Well,
it just builds.
I'm
Don't even pay
suspect.
attention to what it.
I'm suspect because I was recruited under false circumstances. I were told there were going to be fabulous prizes.
There's beautiful women. Fabulous prizes and beautiful women, right?
That's
I
right.
have a spare yarmulke if you want that.
Yeah.
All the way.
Yeah.
I don't know, Vicki. I think we passed part of that.
Yeah. What do you mean?
It's the fame and fortune of appearing on this program, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. Vicki, here's the first question of the Today Yesterday quiz.
Okay.
March 12th, the year 538. Vitiges, king of the Ostrogoths, ends his siege of Rome. Left in charge is the victorious Byzantine general Belisarius, who is still considered one of the best commanders in world history. But his name, Belisarius, makes me think of Hollywood writer, director, and producer Donald P. Belisario, who created Quantum Leap and NCIS.
Right.
He had also created and produced 3 of these TV series. Which of these is not a Belisario brainchild? Is it A, Jag, B, Tales of the Gold Monkey, C, Sequest DSV, D, Tequila and Bonetti?
Oh, I love Quantum Leap. That was one of my favorite shows. Say them again, because none of them make any sense to me.
One of them was not created by
Right.
Donald P. Belisario. A, Jag, B, Tales of the Gold Monkey, C, Sequest DSV, D, Tequila and Bonetti.
I don't know. Total guess. I'm going to say D, Tequila and Bonetti. Just 1,000% guess.
Your final, I need my, is that your final answer?
Sure.
Good song, bad answer. That is not the correct answer, I'm afraid.
Oh, somebody's given this one.
And that is not correct either. So, I'm going to roll the die. And what happens now is one of our other 2 contestants gets to steal. I rolled a 5. That belongs to neither of them. I'm rolling a 5 again. Stop this. I'm going to roll now. Oh, God damn, a 5. What are the odds? Wait, it keeps rolling a 5. What the hell is wrong with this thing?
Maybe it's frozen.
Okay, no, it just rolled a 4. But that was Vicki Quade's number, so that ain't going to work. Leslie Hoban Blake, it unfroze long enough to give you a 6. So you can steal this
But
question.
I adored Belisario. I used to follow shows that I can't remember any of them now except Quantum Leap. And I think Jag was one of his shows. But he did have a quirky sense of, on certain shows. Jag was just a regular procedural and I didn't care for it. It took place in the service and it wasn't mine. Anyway, it was not about a Jaguar or a Jag car. So I have the Gold Monkey and Sequin and Jag left, right?
Yes.
So I'm not sure that Jag would do it, but I don't know those other 2. And I think Sequest was a cartoon. So I'm going to say we think out loud sometimes. Some of us do, Keith, because it's Saturday morning. And unless the words come out of my mouth, my brain gets all clogged. So.
Plus, it's also really boring if we just sit here in silence while people think.
Well,
so, yeah.
that too. So I'm going to say this is which is false, which was not his.
Which is not a Donald P. Belisario created.
Not. So Tequila and Bonetti was a Donald Belisarius.
That is correct.
I see. I'm going to go with Sequest was not.
Is that your final answer?
I'm in the same boat as in that green water over there, in the same boat with Vicki, because I'm guessing.
Under the sea, you got it right. Well done tonight. Yes, well done, Leslie. Hoban
right.
on the board with 2 points. So let me give you a little bit of the skivvy about all this. Sequest DSP was an actual, real live action TV show starring Roy Scheider, and it ran.
You're freezing, but go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. It ran for 3 seasons on NBC, starring Roy Scheider. It was created by a guy named Rockne S. O'Bannon, who also created Farscape and Alien Nation. Just so you know,
yes, he had Star Trek. He had a lot to do with Star Trek. Rockne O'Bannon.
Oh, was it? Oh, so
what?
Also, let's see. Tales of the Gold Monkey was a show that starred Stephen Collins and Roddy McDowall back in 1982,
Wow.
which was a Belisario show.
Hmm.
And then Tequila and Bonetti was a 1992 police thing with Jack Scalia and a young Mariska Hargitay, just before she hit the Law and Order, pay dirt. Yeah. So there you go.
And never did anything else, but that's fine.
Never had to. She still
Never had to. Yeah.
Crush on Roddy McDowall.
He was on that too. Yeah. So
Before I knew Roddy McDowall was gay, I had such a crush on Roddy McDowall. I once called him backstage at something. I don't know if it was television or a theater. Somehow I got his number. Don't I? The way you can do things when you're a kid and you don't know how you do them. And I actually had this conversation pretending to be an adult, trying to come on to him, not knowing that, and he was being so nice about it because he obviously figured out what was going on. And he was just a sweet man.
that's so
said
neat.
a thing about Roddy McDowall.
Huh.
And a wonderful photographer.
Yes, not unlike the guy who did
We do this too, Keith. We'll eventually get back to
We'll
the
get back to
quiz.
the game.
We'll
at
get
some
back
point,
to-
yeah.
Well, but now I can't think. I have a
There's another
picture over here, and I
photographer.
can't think of what his name is. Oh, Joel Gray.
Oh, yeah.
Not unlike Joel Gray, who's also a wonderful photographer and has
And
done
Leonard
several books.
Nimoy. Let's not forget him. So let's get on to our next.
Sorry, Keith.
Here we go. Well, here's the deal, Leslie.
Keith is not even in his own name. He's like
Erica. Sorry, Erica.
Erica.
But here's the deal, Leslie. You have 2 points on the board already. You can double it because this next question goes directly.
Oh, it's mine, right? Okay.
Yeah. So, oh boy, you can take a real lead here if you get this multiple choice.
Oh, it's okay. David Short won't believe it because he's not here, so it doesn't matter, right?
Hey, shout out to David. He's usually he had an appointment today. I don't know for what. I don't know for why. I hope it's great. But it was more important to him than doing this program.
Well, tells you how, who your friends are,
Yes.
just saying.
Yeah, Vicky's here. Leslie's here. Keith
Vicky is here. Vicky's back. Vicky is back, man.
So 1365 was the year, Leslie. 1365 was the year, okay? Rudolph IV, I call him Rudy. Rudolph IV, Duke of Austria, founds the University of Vienna. Speaking of Vienna, which of these items was not originally invented in Vienna?
Oh.
A, Pez candies. B, detergent pods. C, snow globes. D, croissants.
What's the last one?
Croissants. That's my wonderful French pronunciation.
No, just I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, croissant.
So it's Pez, detergent pods, snow globes, or croissants
Oui.
from Vienna. Okay. Well, the logical thing would be that croissant comes from France, or from Montreal. But that would make it odd. Why would it be in this thing? And why would you give us such an odd one? I mean, so I think snow globes might very well have been invented in Vienna. They're just saccharine enough. Detergent pods, Pez, I have no idea. Pez, a little hard candy that even when you bite into it doesn't break and has a terrible taste. Yes, that I think was invented in Vienna. I'm going between pods and croissant. I have no idea. I'm gonna go. I already got one, so if I don't get this one, I don't feel so bad. I'm gonna take the logical answer. I'm gonna say croissants were not. Wait, they're known for their pastries. Would the French have taken a German pastry as one of their own?
No.
I'm with you. I wouldn't think so. but knowing his convoluted mind, you see,
Thank you. I'm here. I'm listening to this.
I know your brain is up in that hat. I know. I'm going to say croissant was not invented was not started in Vienna, which is probably wrong.
Is that your final answer?
It's my final guess, yes.
Well, even though you are well-bred, Leslie Hoban Blake, I'm afraid croissant is not the correct answer. It was called the Kipferl when they first invented it in Austria. We have a roll.
Oh, it looks like Klipferl.
Kip, Kipferl, Kipferl, which
Fruit
was these
called a Knipfel, yeah, which has the same shape. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, okay. Oh,
we're rolling
bad.
the die, or since we're talking about breads, it's a roll. Okay, I'm sorry, to say the least. All right, we have.
And you're on it, so.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I just.
Sorry, Keith.
I have a number 2. Mickey, number 2
Keith,
came up.
you chose the number. You're gonna have to sit
no,
through all the jokes.
I have
I'm
number
number
4.
two.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Keith. You're the number. You're.
Listen, Keith almost had a wall fall on him. You can't
Yeah, this
shake
is
him.
nothing.
Yeah.
This is not nothing comparable.
Yeah.
Keith, you can steal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Keith.
Yeah.
Come
I'll
on.
take a shot at it. Pez, that's I don't like European candies and I don't like Pez, so I'm thinking that's probably one of theirs. The snowball, that kind of seems like something they would do. The detergent pod sounds like something that was created in a laboratory in Cincinnati for Procter and Gamble. So I think I'm going to go with the detergent pod.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Well, Rabbi Saul believes in God, Keith believes in pod, and we believe that you are on the board with 2 points. Well done,
All
Keith.
right.
Yay!
Well
I was-
done, Keith. I
it
would have
takes-
said that the pods were started in a Russian chemical warfare lab.
Well, that could have been too, but all the pressure's off. My biggest concern is I'd get totally skunked. So I'm
You got
I'm
on
done.
the board,
I'm done.
man. You're
On the
good.
board.
You're
We have
good.
people who play the game for the first time and they don't get on the board because it's such a ridiculous game. Keith, you are already on the board, and not only that, you nailed it. Back in the 60s, Procter and Gamble introduced the Salvo tablet, the dissolving pod, as opposed to Pez. Which, did you know this? I didn't really know this. That
Will not dissolve, no matter what you do.
But you know what Pez stands for? It's a Germany thing for Pfefferminz, peppermint.
Oh, yeah.
Or short for
Oh.
Pfefferminz. Yeah.
And I think it's true
Oh.
that eBay was started. The man who started eBay did so because his wife collected Pez dispensers.
Pez dispensers. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I think that's
Wow.
right.
Well, I guess we're not playing.
Well,
to the history,
congratulations.
We're playing what? Sorry?
Keith, you well done. You.
Yeah.
There
But
will be no Dr. Sue points.
there's no Alan Lutton. There's no Betty White. This is not Pez word. I'm sorry. Now, Keith, I also apologize for this.
Pez word.
Your first question is different. Your first question is not a typical multiple choice, Dave's gone by today, yesterday question. You get 3 clues in the news. So here we go. What 3 clues in the news is nothing to do with like March 12th or anything like that. It's 3 separate words, right? They are not related to each other, but each word individually is related to the word that we're looking for. So if I were to say couch, what do I normally?
Potato.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
Got it.
Couch, sweet.
So here
But
we
he's
go.
going to give you 3 words, and it has to be the same word that goes with each one. He's got it.
So he gets it. So here's the deal. These 3 words will come up with another word, and that word is somehow connected to the news that's been happening this past week or so. Ready? The words are 7, fire, hope.
What's the last word?
Hope. 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 Hope, Leslie.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, this is one of those ones when you hear it, it's so obvious, right?
Yeah.
No.
And this is this week news?
The word that you're looking for, it was in the news this week. The words that you have are 7, fire, hope.
But
Well,
you know what, Keith? Don't think about the news. Just think about those 3 words.
Yeah. The problem is, when you're in a fringe festival, you're in a bubble. You don't know what day it is and what's going on. So I've been in a fringe bubble. So outside of what's going on in Ukraine, I don't know what the heck's going on in the news this week.
Is there something in Ukraine? Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have. I'd be taking.
Wait, what?
You can talk it out like 7
Yeah.
sisters, fire stick. So,
Yeah.
No.
Boy, I'm gonna have to hit the buzzer and nothing's coming to me.
When you do that, one thing that you can do is always mention the name of your show. So you can say,
Nah,
"Kill me."
we've mentioned it. We've mentioned it enough already. I'm tired of hearing it.
You are the first actor, writer who has
Who
ever
has not done
anything like that.
Well, because as you know, I'm not an actor at all. I was a business guy. This is just something I'm doing. Yeah.
But we want to promote it though. But wow, modesty, wow. I wish I were.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna roll the die, and the die comes up again. Keith's number. I'm gonna roll it one more time, and it's God, stupid thing.
Why don't you ask Vicki if she picked her fish sandwich?
Oh, that's right. We can talk about that later. We're following you, Vicki, on Facebook.
Oh.
And your attempt to eat all this fish during Lent, but you're eating like fish at fast food restaurants.
That's all it is. I don't want to do fancy fish. I don't want to do a fancy restaurant. I want to do fast. That's the idea. Fast food restaurants.
Which is the best that you've had so far?
For Lent, you're giving them up for
Wendy's.
Lent, or that's all you're going to for Lent?
No, I did this last year and it was a lot of fun. So it's Wendy's. I think Wendy's has the best for the price, the quality, the taste, everything. I think Wendy's is it.
And
So
Joyce,
that's it. You're only eating at Wendy's for all of Lent?
No, sweetheart. I am reviewing fish sandwiches. So like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. But
okay,
it has to be a fast food restaurant. I don't want to go. People say, "Oh, go to this wonderful fish restaurant." Of course, they're going to have a good sandwich, because that's what they do.
We do, yeah. If you go to what's that place that we like in Colorado? That's
in New York. Arby's is pushing its fish food.
That's right. I have to do Arby's. I got to do Arby's. I have to do Portillo's, which may not be anywhere outside of Chicago. And I have to do White Castle. Somebody suggested White Castle.
They have
White Castle.
That's what they say. I mean, it's all about Lent. It shows you the power of Catholicism.
I'm Italian, so I had to do that all the time.
Well, you had the egg and pepper sandwich.
My mother claimed to not be a Catholic, to be a lapsed Catholic, but we had fish every Friday.
Oh man!
So come hell or high water, we had fish.
You compared one of the places you ate at where it was like you compared it to goldfish. What the hell? Where was that?
It was bad. It was bad. That was that McDonald's?
Oh,
might be McDonald's. I think it is. Yeah,
They got Brian Cox doing their fish sandwich. They got Brian Cox. Listen to the voice. He's the voice of McDonald's.
They'll never hire me.
Listen to the voice on the commercials.
Well, was it gold because it tasted bad and it was tiny? Was that the deal? It was like
it just wasn't very good. Yeah, right. It had sour. It had a sour taste.
Do you have an answer for this?
Finally, yes. Okay, so we have I don't even know whose question this is right now.
Well, it's a steal opportunity.
Oh, so yes, I rolled a 4, which is
me.
It's you. So.
And I still don't know. 7, hope, fire.
Yeah.
I was thinking diamond because fire, diamond, or hope, but 7 doesn't match that. 7 jewel, 7 hope. Faith, hope, and charity, but that doesn't match either because there's no charity fire. Well,
I don't charity after fire, maybe, but
yeah. I don't know. So I'm going to say diamond, even though I know it's wrong.
Final answer.
Sure, why not?
Well, Vicky, even though you're a gem, that is not the correct answer. Leslie
Obviously.
Blake, do you have an answer for us on our 3 clues in the news?
No, I thought her answer was right. I thought it was 7 of diamonds, fire diamond, and hope diamond.
Oh,
It's clever.
what is a fire diamond?
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's a diamond that has, a lot of
Brilliance and sparkle inside
Yeah.
of it.
He does not buy gifts for anyone.
that does fit.
She gets the right answer, but it's not the right answer.
Yeah, it's a fair answer. Okay.
It's a fair ansur. It's
Maybe
worth
we
1
have a
point.
It's not, but it isn't what we're looking for.
Yes, give her a Dr. Sue point for that.
How are they in the news, though? If you can answer that, I'll give you a if everybody else.
Oh, I can tell you what. I can tell you
Well,
no longer going to import Russian diamonds.
There you go.
Is everybody
That's in the
giving a
news.
point to Vicky? Is everybody okay with me giving?
Absolutely, give Vicky the point. Give her the
Vicky,
point.
it's a point.
I was sitting here going, yes, Vicky, it's the 7 of diamonds. Yes, yes.
That's what I thought.
But I don't have to try to guess it. I'm only doing this so I don't have to try to guess it because I had no better answer than that. What was the answer you had?
But Leslie, you can get the other point if you get the one where
He only gave me 1 point.
My head is.
your head is frozen at the moment, Leslie. Did you say anything? Did you give us an answer?
Yes, I said, give us the answer. I have no idea.
All right.
Not
The
even for 1
answer
point.
is, and this is unbelievable because Vicky, you're going to kick yourself over this.
Okay, what is it?
This is like
What
perfect
is it?
clue. 7, fire, hope, and the answer is Chicago.
Oh, Chicago Fire, Chicago Hope.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Wow.
Chicago, yeah, sure.
And do you know why Chicago was in the news?
Well,
Because they announced this week, go figure, in one of the great pieces of stunt casting ever, they're putting Pamela Anderson into the Broadway production of Chicago as Roxy
yeah.
in just a couple of weeks. I mean, it might be great. I mean, she might be wonderful. But yeah,
Huh.
that's happening.
If they put her in a bathing suit, nobody will care, right?
That's it. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Jesse Smollett being sentenced.
Right.
No, maybe that'll come up in our next 3 clues in the news.
Oh, God. Oh, that performance.
At least they got 1 point.
Yes, Vicky has 1. Leslie
point.
has 2.
I think she should have gotten 2. Did you see that performance he made in the courtroom about how he wasn't
It was
suicidal?
riveting. I watched the whole 5 hours.
Oh,
It was like theater. It was so riveting and
I
wonderful.
didn't know it was broadcast even. We
It
just saw
was.
the
It was broadcast the entire 5 hours and some minutes. Yeah.
Was it a
Man,
slow
you
news
counselor.
day or something? What?
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, we're interested here because of.
Well, he did it there. I know.
Right. And it was so wrong, to lie about that.
Yeah,
And,
he cost millions of dollars, and they fined him like 100,000.
no, it didn't cost that much. But what it did is it caused damage for the future.
120,000 or something.
That's all.
Right.
It was like, but if anyone else gets victimized as
It's
a hate
not real.
crime and then reports it, the police might say, is it real? So it really has
He's
destroyed.
immortalized. It's going to be called the Smollett Law. So he's immortalized no matter what happens.
It's called a Jussie. You're doing a Jussie.
Okay.
You're doing the
Then it does.
Jussie. That sounds like a George Clinton.
They're
thing.
already saying
It
that.
does. It
Yeah.
does.
We're looking for
I always
you're
thought-
doing the Jussie. Yeah. All right. Let's get on to
I
the.
thought with that
Wait,
whole debacle, I thought that the MAGA hat was a nice touch.
Oh, was he? I didn't even see that.
Oh, he claimed the guys who did it were wearing MAGA hats. I mean, that just
Yeah.
was a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It was about 30 below zero that day.
Yeah.
And he supposedly went out to buy eggs and get a sandwich at Subway at 2 in the morning.
It was
Yeah.
very
It was a Wendy's
specific.
fisherman
Did he
chicken.
say what kind of sandwich?
That's right. It'll be 3 clues in the news.
Now let's move on to the second round of our Today Yesterday trivia quiz with our wonderful panelists Keith, Alessi, Vicki, Quade, and Leslie Hoban Blake. By the way, Leslie and Keith are tied with.
Is it storming where you are? Because it sounds terrible out my window. It's like
windy, it's
pelting my window with icy snow.
No, we just have rain here.
Okay.
But it's down. Yeah. Keith,
It's called a cyclone bomb or a bomb cyclone.
I don't even know what that.
Those 2 words are in it. I don't know.
It sounds like one of my farts.
It's
Anyway,
60 and sunny in Fresno.
Shut up, Keith. We didn't ask you.
Whoa! Whoa!
Wow.
It's the
They get
nun in her
vicious.
coming out,
You
Keith.
didn't
It's
tell
the
me they
nuns
got
who
this
can't help
vicious.
it.
What are you getting in Chicago, Vicki? How's the weather out
Cold. It's really, 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 really cold.
I was going to go away this weekend, and when I saw the weather report, I said, "What's the point?
there? Well,
I don't do
Sunday's
well
gonna
in
be
this
okay,
weather
but-
period, you know."
Yeah.
all right. Let's get to the next round. Yes, there's a game here somewhere called Today, Yesterday. And Vicki, this question is for you to start the second round of our
Okay.
Today, Yesterday quiz. The year was 1904. With $5 million, Andrew Carnegie establishes the Carnegie Hero Fund,
Mhm.
a way to reward civilians who perform extraordinary acts of heroism. Which of these is false about Andrew Carnegie?
Okay.
And notice I'm pronouncing the name right.
You
A,
are.
he taught himself Morse code. B, shortly before he died, Carnegie built a second Carnegie Hall, not in New York, but in Glasgow. C, the Pittsburgh Museum has a dinosaur skeleton named after Andrew Carnegie. Or D, he helped Booker T. Washington found the National Negro Business League.
Ooh. Yeah. Huh.
One of these is false.
One of them is false. You know, the dinosaur thing sounds just crazy enough to be true. Building a second Carnegie in Scotland. I don't know. Maybe. Helping Booker T. Washington. I think he probably did that. And what was the first one?
First one was he taught himself Morse
Oh,
code.
Morse code. And which is also possible. I'm going to say the fact that he built a second Carnegie Hall. I'm going to say, and I have no idea. Again, big guess.
Is that your final answer?
Sure.
Well, Vicki, how do you get 2 more points? Practice, practice, practice. You got it. That is the correct answer. Vicki Quade
Cool.
with 2 more points
Excellent.
on the board. Here's the thing, though. There really is a second Carnegie Hall, but it was built 20 years after he died, and it was built in Dunfermline, Scotland, where it exists as a house for it's for all these performers who know they'll never get to the New York Carnegie Hall. They can say, "Oh, we're playing Carnegie Hall in Dunfermline, Scotland." You know,
Nice.
Don't have to practice. Is that the idea?
Exactly. The
Hey,
Diplodocus.
before we move on,
Oh, can't hear you.
no,
Frozen.
go ahead. Whatever you were going to say.
No, you're
Finish
also
what you were
frozen,
going to
Liz.
say.
I was just going to say the name of the dinosaur
Oh.
is the Diplodocus carnegie, and the National Negro Business League is now called just the National Business League. It continues to this day, so that's kind of neat. So listen,
That's pronounced Diplodocus. I don't mean to correct your pronunciation, but it's Diplodocus.
please, yeah.
My brother was a dinosaur freak, so we had to learn how to say all of them correctly. Have any of you started to watch The Gilded Age on HBO Max? I am addicted. It stars every Broadway actor from Norm Lewis to Nathan Lane and everybody in between. And it's the Gilded Age in New York. And Danae Benton is in it anyway, it's hysterical. And one of the things is it's based loosely on the story of Jay Gould and the other robber barons and what was going on at the time, like how Jay Gould was building another train station in New York because they wouldn't let him use the one that existed, and he built another train. It's fantastic. If you haven't started watching it,
or what happened with that?
No, we're talking about trains that go in and out of New York.
Yeah. Oh, you
not
mean like
not
Amtrak?
subway.
Oh, yeah.
Trains that go in and out of New York at Pennsylvania Station, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I can't recommend it too highly. It is addictive.
Oh boy. Okay. Thank
Gilded
you.
Age, HBO.
Now
That's my plug this morning.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm going to plug Vicki Quade because she has 3 points. She is leading Keith and Leslie by 1 point, but that can change.
It will change.
We will see. We will see.
Just remember who pulled for you to get that point.
Leslie, I'm pulling for you. Come on now.
Well, Leslie can take the lead if you get this question right, Leslie. Here we go.
Okay.
The year was 1912. Founded today by Juliet Gordon Lowe, are Girl Guides, soon to become the Girl Scouts. Do you know your Scout lingo? Which of these is not a definition of a Girl Scout term? A fly-up is when a scout performs an act of great kindness or compassion. B, a daisy is a scout of kindergarten or first grade age. C, a caper is a chart showing a scout's upcoming assignments. Or D, a nose bag is a pre-prepared lunch you don't have to cook.
Wait, I missed three. You want to do all of them one more
I
time?
will do all of them one more time. One of these is not a correct definition of a scouting term, or maybe not a scouting term at all. A fly-up is when a scout performs an act of great kindness or compassion. B, a daisy is a scout of kindergarten or first grade age. C, a caper is a chart showing a scout's upcoming assignments. D, a nose bag is a pre-prepared lunch you don't have to cook.
I was unceremoniously thrown out of the Girl Scouts. I actually was thrown out of the Brownies. I never got to be a Girl Scout. I was kicked out. I was all of 7. And the minister who ran the Girl Scout, the Brownie troop, thought that I was obstreperous. And
Wow.
Anyway, he was also my school teacher. It was a very small, my dad was, we were in an army camp, barracks kind of situation. So we didn't have many choices of places to go to school. And it was it was the Crimean War, and it was very,
What?
Why is that funny?
never mind. It just came to my. I'm that old, But anyway, so I don't know
Uh-oh.
what a nose bag is, and
Stop
I think
moving
that
around,
was
Leslie.
right.
Yeah.
A nose bag is an oat bag that you put on a horse's nose. So I think that the idea of that being a lunch is right. And I think the daisy is right for the little kid. So I'm tossed between the fly up and the caper. And I can't imagine that word was in use at the time, caper. I'm sure it was in use. I'm going to say fly up is not the right one.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, by process of very weary elimination, yes.
Look at you, you're flying. Yes, you are. You got points. Yay! Leslie Hoban Blake, that is the correct answer. Leslie gets 2 points. She's in the lead. And by the way, do you know what a fly up is? Maybe Vicki, you know this. You seem to have little scouting smarts.
I have a lot. I was a Girl Scout myself, and my daughter. I was a troop leader for 10 years. There is a term fly up, but I think that's when you go from one level to another.
Exactly it.
Oh.
When you're
Yeah,
promoted
that's the
from-
fly up. And there are
I
daisies.
was a Cub Scout den mother.
Really?
I was a Cub Scout den mother. My son was in the Cubs for like 3 or 4 years. He never went on to Boy Scout.
Well, Leslie and
My son was in the White Sox, so that was the difference. Yeah.
Leslie and I have a lot in common because I got unceremoniously dismissed from the Girl Scouts too.
Really?
In the house,
order.
they're still referring to it as the incident.
Were you using the name Erica at the time?
Yeah, I was.
Immortalized. That's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, Keith, we have a question for you.
By the way, excuse me, gabba, 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 gabba. We accept him. That's very much our sense of
Gobble
humor.
gobble.
Yes.
He's one of whatever it is.
Gobble,
He's
we
one of
accept
us.
you.
He's one of us.
I was ahead of my time.
So here, Keith, is your question. And by the way, after your question, whether you get it right or wrong, one thing I forgot to mention is that you will need a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, something to write with later on in the. You have it already. My God. Okay. You are.
My memory's not that good. I have to write these things down.
So fantastic. So don't even forget what I just said. But don't forget this. This is your question. The year was 1912. Opening.
We're still in 1912?
Yeah, that was a lot.
Earlier. Another 1912.
Same day, literally the same day in history. The same day that the Girl Scouts were founded as the Girl Guides. Opening today and constructed by Winthrop Ames at 240 West 44th Street is the Little Theater, which would become New York Times Hall, which would become the Helen Hayes Theater. They called it the Winthrop Ames Theater, and now the current Hayes Theater, which is owned by Second Stage. In the long history, this venue has had a number of unusually titled plays and musicals. Which of these was not one of them? A. Love in a Coffee Cup. B. Tambourines to Glory. C. Broomsticks, Amen. D. D. Hark, the Sea Hag.
What's the last one?
I'm sorry. Hark,
Mark the Sea Hag.
Hark, the Sea Hag. One of these was not a show at the Helen Hayes Theater, the Hayes Theater, the Little Theater, the New York Times Hall, any one of that these venue has
You
been.
mind going through them again, although Keith may not need them, but I do.
Sure. A. Love in a Coffee Cup.
Hello?
B. Love in a Coffee Cup. B. Tambourines to Glory. C. Broomsticks, Amen. D. Hark, the Sea Hag.
I always say broomsticks, amen, whenever I go into the theater to clean up. Broomsticks, amen.
Well, my knowledge of New York and New York theater in particular is zero. So this is an absolute guess. I can't even believe there was a show called Hark the Sea Hag. So I got to go with that just out of absurdity.
Is that your final answer? Though?
Yeah, I mean, it's a total guess.
Well, hark, hark. Do I hear a correct answer? I do! Well done!
Hey.
You guessed correctly. I knew that was kind of a little too obvious, but I couldn't resist that name.
Yeah.
See,
Just
see
so you know, I saw Tambourines to Glory. Did you remember that, David? Or are you too young?
I'm too young. What's that one?
I think it was in the 70s. It was at the time of Mama, I Want to Sing and all of those shows. And anyway, I don't want to do a thing on Black theater history, but
no, you probably saw a revival because Tambourines to Glory was from 1963. It was a Langston Hughes based.
Why would it have been a revival?
Yeah, exactly that. I'm assuming. Love in a Coffee Cup was a mini opera with music by Johann Sebastian Bach. He wasn't part of the production, obviously. And Broomsticks, Amen was a play about the Amish by Elmer Greenfelder from 1934.
I just couldn't imagine the Sea Hag getting by the marketing people, the title.
Well, I didn't realize, I had no idea that Sea Hag was a character in Popeye that was created back in the late 1920s. She was Popeye's nemesis, one of them. So, but well done, Keith. You have 4 points. You are tied with Leslie for the lead in the game. This is like one of the best.
I have 4 points. I don't even know anymore. Hey, Keith. Now we're going to be frenemies. Now the
All
right.
Okay.
But here's the deal.
Feeling it.
You are only a point away. And as we move into the third round, anything, literally anything
Anything could happen.
Ukraine could be invaded. Anything could happen. So here's the deal. Your first question of the third round, Vicki Quade, is 3 clues in the news.
Great.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to give you 3 words.
Chicago. Oh, no.
Maybe.
Diamonds.
Diamonds. Forever.
3 words.
Go
They're
ahead.
not connected to each other. They're connected to the word we're looking for.
Go ahead.
Field. Corn. Paint.
Would you?
Oh, sorry. Field. Corn. Paint.
Oh, paint. Okay. Paint. Corn muffins, corn paint, corn fritters, cream corn, no, cream paint, corn field greens, green corn, green paint, green. Maybe it's green. I'll say green.
Gee, are you influenced by your background?
Yeah, maybe. And lack of anything else.
Well, that is not the correct. I don't know if we want to award you another point because I guess green does work with field and corn and paint. It's not the word we're looking for. Do another?
Is that word paint as in head paint? Is that the word?
P-A-I-N-T.
Like when you're painting.
Oh, paint.
Like
Sorry,
when you
thank
dye
I
the
didn't have
river
the
green
wrong
in
word.
Chicago. You
So
paint the river green.
I am a little loath to give you another sort of.
No, it's okay. You don't have to, but you know they do fit.
They do.
And
You
it's
could
green
get a
and
few
blue.
days off in purgatory. I'm just saying, but
I'm
you
just
know.
saying. I don't know. Maybe. Well,
She promises that to all the boys.
Wait, is green in the news somehow?
Yeah, they dyed the river green.
Okay. Is everybody okay with me giving Vicki another damn?
Yes,
point?
give her the point.
Give her the point.
It's
up
sad
to
because
you,
now we
Jim.
all tie.
We have a
Oh, I
3
get-
tied, which is fantastic. I'm
I think I
thrilled.
got this one though.
However,
Oh.
we're going to.
Oh, wait, well, let's see. He says thinks he has it.
He has
Hold
to.
on,
He
well,
has to.
I gotta
he
get
has to
roll.
Well,
I
that's
gotta
okay.
roll.
roll the
That-
die.
that this is just because this is David's fault for coming up with something that could have more than one answer.
It is my fault.
Okay, but Dave has to roll the die. Who comes up next?
Now, Keith, here's the deal, man.
Right.
You are tied in a 3-way tie at the moment, but if you think you got this answer, I just rolled a number 2. So
Come on, Dave. Come on, Keith.
Well,
Come
I
on,
think
Keith.
it's the ball field, the cornball, and the paintball.
Oh,
wow.
Because baseball came back.
Yeah, no, I know.
oh,
Is this one that there's
there's
3 right
another.
answers?
I'm sure it's not the right answer, but it fits.
Oh man, this was such a bad question. That is not the right answer, but it also absolutely completely fits.
So he gets one more point too.
One more point.
So that pulls him out in the lead. Now he's in the lead. Go ahead. We
Well,
did
Okay,
it for her.
Leslie,
We
but you
gotta do
can
it for
actually
him.
find the
And
correct.
now it comes to me to try to guess
Yeah.
the right answer, and I don't have any idea.
Okay, what are they again? Paint, field, and corn.
Correct.
Right.
Paint.
Related
I
to
was
something in the news.
I was thinking about the ball, Keith, but I didn't go with it because I didn't think that you could have the same word
Field.
twice in that thing. So
Corn.
you have to make a rule on that henceforward. Can you have the same word more than once?
You mean in the game?
Yeah,
It's not gonna be Chicago. No, wait, no.
No, because ball, in other words, cornball and paintball.
Well, that would
I-
work.
Can you have the same the word?
What are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know. I'm stupid. It's okay.
No,
He genuinely earned a point. Now I have to go and not earn a point. Give me a
No,
second.
no, we're gonna help you.
Oh,
Sorry.
we have changed this game. We have taken the game. We've hijacked the game away from Dave.
Well, there's been all these points floating around
Yes,
today.
help me.
Corn brush. Paint
It's like-
So
brush.
I'm coming up with cornflake. I'm coming up with paintbrush. I'm coming up with Field of Dreams.
Let's not forget-
Popcorn.
3 clues.
If
in
David
the
Stewart were here.
news.
Popcorn.
What, dear?
Remember, let's not forget something in the news.
Yes, I
I'm
know.
gonna give you that
I
hint.
just gotta find a word that goes with everything. Then I'll worry about whether it's in the news or not. If David Stewart were here and I said popcorn, that would send him down a whole road too. Paint
Do it, James.
the
Popcorn.
wagon of corn, field wagon, wagon field. I don't even have a bad guess. I got nothing.
Nothing else. So circle. Oh no, or pick something. I might give you a point if it fits.
I don't have a show. I don't have a show to promote. I'll promote the tomato show. I think that's the funniest title. Tomatoes, whatever. Tomatoes, potatoes,
Tomatoes tried to kill me, but banjos saved my life. That's the actual name of the show. All right, let's see. Yeah, okay, fine. The answer is, although your answers were honestly just as good, so I don't mind giving the point. But field, corn, paint. The word we're looking for: oil.
Oh, corn oil.
Oil.
Corn oil.
Oil
field.
field.
Yeah, I don't really talk about an oil field too often, right?
Oil paint.
Oil paint, corn oil and oil paint I get, but
And oil,
field.
of course, in the news.
Oil,
because
I know what an oil
$4.5
field is. I
gallon.
just don't, yeah.
Sure.
Oh,
We
let's
all
get
know
to
why
that.
oil is in the news.
Ask Leslie if she went back to theater.
You know what happened? I don't know about Chicago, but New York suddenly had a spate. It was like 6 of them, little pop-up stores that were warehouses without a real store, and it could only order online. And they promised to get you your things in 15 minutes, but they didn't have everything. They just had whatever was in the warehouse, but it was enough for staples. And I ordered twice a month from them just so I didn't have to go out to the store.
Yeah.
And the one that I ordered from was called Fridge No More, which I thought was a very clever title. And it had a lovely guy, always got the same guy delivering. And the prices were almost the same as well, it closed. I went to the site and it said temporarily closed. So I thought, oh my God. And I had the right answer. It was Russian owned.
Oh, wow.
And 2 other ones were also Russian owned, and they closed.
Or Fresh Direct.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Isn't that intriguing? Talk
Yeah.
about it in the news, right?
Yeah. Well, Joyce is
You
saying.
should get a point.
All right, let's
That's my girl.
go onward with the game because we got a hell of a game here. What the hell is the point now? We got Keith with 5, Leslie with 4, Vicki with 4 also. So
No.
quite a
Oh,
game.
that's what I have for. Right. Okay, Leslie is next. Come on, Leslie.
Who's winning?
Am I next?
Keith has 5 points.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Leader, Leslie was
Okay.
1969. This is your question, Les.
1969.
Winning the Grammy Award for Best Male Vocal Performance is Glenn Campbell's version of the Jimmy Webb song By the Time I Get to Phoenix. According to Phoenix New Times, which of these is false about Phoenix, Arizona? A. Ernesto Miranda was arrested by Phoenix police, leading to his confession without a lawyer present. B. George Lucas hit writer's block when creating the original script for Star Wars and got unblocked on a long drive along I-10 in Phoenix. C. Phoenix once spent 76 consecutive days with temperatures at or over 100 degrees.
Oof.
Or D. The 16th hole of the PGA's Waste Management Open is nicknamed the Party Hole because it's so rowdy.
Because it's so what?
One of them is false. Is
Rowdy. It's so rowdy.
It's so rowdy. So the original Miranda case was there. Lucas got his inspiration on the road, 76 days of over 100, not trombones. And the PGA,
Waste Management Open.
the Waste Management PGA, I'm sorry, that
Yes.
one's got to go right away. Waste Management is off the board, which is false, Well, wait a minute, that must be it. Because my friend Wally passed away in September or October at the age of 99 in Phoenix, Arizona. He went to be near his daughters and he was in one of those assisted living facilities and he didn't make it to 100. He tried, but we would talk about the weather and it was always over 100. So that's that. I don't know about Lucas. And I'm pretty sure Miranda is right also. So I think those are true. So it's Lucas or the Waste Management. I'm going to say there's no such thing as a Waste Management PGA. I can just see the garbage guys on the field going, "Hey, that's my hole. What are you doing there? Get out of my hole." Anyway, go ahead.
Is that your final answer?
That's my whole Sopranos nod and everything. Yes.
Oh, well, it is garbage time here on Dave's Gone By. But guess what, Leslie Hoban Blake? Waste Management is a very, very, very big company. They have a stadium. They have the PGA Open. It was the funniest friggin' thing I ever heard when suddenly football games were being played in Waste Management Stadium. But it's real. And the PGA Open, and there is a party hole. And I'm not talking about, back when I was in college and going to certain bars. But no, ladies and gentlemen, that is not the correct answer, Leslie Hoban Blake. There really is.
Did they ever think of changing the name of the company to like We Pick Up or something?
Anything better than Waste Management. But no, that's the world we live in. I'm going to roll the die, and we're going to get a number 5, which doesn't help us, right? Which is going to now be a number 3, which doesn't help us either. Which is turning into a number 4, who is Vicki.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
That's Vicki. Good. Come on, Vicki.
All right. So what was, say them again, because I have an idea.
One of these is false about Phoenix, Arizona.
Right.
A. Ernesto Miranda was arrested by Phoenix police, leading to his confession without a lawyer present. B. George Lucas hit writer's block when creating the original script for Star Wars and got unblocked on a long drive along I-10 in Phoenix. Or C. Phoenix once spent 76 consecutive days with temperatures at or over 100 degrees.
I'm going to say it's the 76 days because I bet it's a different number of days. That's a guess.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Hot, hot, hot. That answer is not. No, I'm afraid that is not the correct answer, Vicki Quade. They really did. They as Leslie said, Phoenix.
I gave it to you, Vicki, in my.
I thought it was more, like it was 100 days over. I thought the 76.
I know.
Global warming, it will be, but not yet. So Keith, you can actually go on your lead here. Yeah. and you have a 50-50 shot.
Boy, yeah, I mean, either of these things could have happened, but I don't know why. There's something in the back of my head that says Miranda might have been a Texas thing, not a Phoenix thing. So I'm going to say the Miranda thing.
Ooh.
He's channeling Dave.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm channeling my inner Carmen Miranda. Boom, chicka, boom, chick, boom, chicka, boom, chick. You're not correct, sir. I stumped the panel.
Wow.
No,
All
nobody
right.
gets any points on that one. I made up the whole George Lucas thing. But did you know that L. Ron Hubbard wrote his first Scientology books in Phoenix, Arizona? He wrote about Dianetics elsewhere and then moved to Phoenix and started the whole thing there.
So wait a minute. Didn't he say Miranda? And you're saying Lucas is not the answer? What's
Lucas is
true or
false.
Lucas was false. I made that
But
up.
did Keith just get? Didn't Keith say Miranda? Oh, he thought it was Texas. I see. I got it now. I'm trying to keep up here.
There we go. Here we go. Well, Keith is still keeping up. He's keeping up his lead with one more question in our final round, and everybody can still either tie or lead. Who knows? Maybe we'll do quarter points in this one. But this question goes directly to Keith. So, Keith, if you get this right, you've got the game.
Wow.
You ready? I know a lot is riding on this.
Good game so far, Dick Keith. No pressure
I'm
here.
feeling the pressure. Bring it.
Come on, Keith,
You've
you can do
already,
it.
you've already won. So
No, he has not. He is not already necessarily. He is winning.
No, if he misses this and we steal,
I
we
see.
win.
Okay, you're right. I forget how the game is played.
What time is it?
Years
How
later.
long
That
has it
doesn't
been?
stop anybody.
Here we go. The year was
Too long.
On this date, March 12th, 2012, debuting in Los Angeles tonight is the film version of The Hunger Games, the hugely successful young adult book series by Suzanne Collins. Less known is the fantasy series Collins wrote before Hunger Games, The Underland Chronicles. It's all about a boy who stumbles into a massive subterranean world going on under New York City. Which of these was not a book title in that 5-book series? A. Gregor and the Prophecy of the Bane. B. Gregor and the Curse of the Warm Bloods. C. Gregor and the Code of Claw. D. Gregor and the Tree of Transmission.
I've never heard
Can you
of
do
these.
them all again?
Well, actually, let's see if Keith needs them, but it's Gregor and the Prophecy of the Bane, Gregory and the Curse of the Warm Bloods, Gregory and the Code of Claw, Gregor and the Tree of Transmission.
I've never heard of this series. I've never heard of these titles, so I got a 1 in 4 chance I'm going Code of the Claw.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see if one of our other contestants can claw their way to the top, because that is not the correct answer. The Code of Claw was a book.
What was that?
What? Wait, Leslie, you're frozen. What? Uh-oh.
Oh, we don't have it. Come on, Leslie, come back.
Leslie, you there?
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
I'm here.
Okay, hold on. I'm rolling the die, which is coming up with lots of fun.
They're all Gregor and something. Just repeat what's left.
Gregor and, well, let's see who the die rolls on. Hold on. This particular game loves the number 5, because I love the number 5. And I was rolling only odd numbers. Oh, this friggin' thing. Come on. Oh, my God. You're watching the Dave's Gone By show. Vicki, you finally landed on a number. It's number 4. I'll read them one more time. It's Gregor and A, the Prophecy of the Bane, the Curse of the Warm Bloods, or the Tree of Transmission.
Bane, blood, transmission.
Sounds like a medical drama.
I'm going to say Bane. I don't know why.
Is
Because I have no other answer.
sure? Final
Because I want to give Leslie a 50-50 chance.
You might if that's your final answer, or not, or maybe.
Bane, I'll take it.
Well, I'm afraid this question is the bane of your existence, Vicki, because that is not the.
Come on, Leslie.
Leslie, you can actually take the game.
So number 1, I love the Hunger Games. I read all of them. I know they were young adult books. I thought they were fabulous.
Yeah.
I rooted for her. I thought it was a wonderful story of a young woman coming of age and finding herself. And I thought the movies were fantastic. I couldn't wait to get to see all three of them. And I thought they did a fabulous job. I just want that on record. Now, I don't know anything about this series. What are the two letters left, B and D?
By the way, Joyce just said by saying that you get 1 point. No.
No. B and D? B and D?
It's
Okay,
a
so
tree and the warm bloods.
Curse of the Warm Bloods versus D, the Tree of Transmission,
Which is D,
which is D.
right?
Tree of
B
Transmission
and
is
D.
D. Yeah.
So far in
I
the
know
game,
you
it's been
tried B and D because
CBB,
yeah.
ADA, doesn't help at all. Excuse me.
Trees are warm bloods.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. The guy's down below. He's in a place under New York. I'm looking at Daisy and Fly Up. I'm looking at the wrong clues. But wait, where's my clue sheet?
You're
Can't
working
find,
James
oh, here we
Bond.
go. All right. No, I got it. It's the Warm Bloods or the Tree of, interesting. I guess Gregor was the lead character in this.
I hope.
Warm Bloods,
No, he's just a
Tree
minor.
of Transmission. Everything's riding on this. Warm Bloods, Tree of Transmission. What would be, if he's underground, what would he find? The Warm Bloods? Is it the Curse of the Warm Bloods, did you say?
It's the Curse of the Warm Bloods versus Gregor and the Tree of.
And the Tree of Transmission, hang on.
No fair calling a friend.
I just turned it off. Warm Bloods, Tree of Transmission. Warm Bloods, Tree of Transmission.
Flip a coin.
We got two A's, we got two B's, so it really is flip a coin. All right, I'm going to say curse. It's what is not true or what is true.
One of them is not an actual title in the book series.
I'll say the Tree of Transmission is not an actual title.
Is that your final answer?
My final guess, yes, indeed.
Well, it's good to see you branching out, Leslie Hoban Blake. You came into the game, right? And I don't know what I'm saying with this. You just won the game. You just got 2 points.
Leslie,
I got it.
You got it.
Wow, okay. How about a
Not
guess?
just that, Leslie, it was kind of a trick question because in the series there is a Tree of Transmission because it's a language code that humans, bats, and giant roaches all understand. It's really quite and they're making a movie at some point of this Overland series, so we'll get to see them. But he goes underground and there's this whole.
And somebody's going to get to play the giant roach, right? Oh dear God! Oh my God!
So Leslie Hoban, congratulations! You won with 6 points. We are still doing the tiebreaker question though, but you got the crown. I transfer it to you. Here it is. Oh no, this is.
Well, thank both of you for your help with this because I couldn't have done it without you.
You know what they say, teamwork makes the dream work.
I don't want your crown. You all realize that today is the day that the world shut down. You've already had that conversation, have you? 2 years ago to the date, the 12th is the day that everything went on lockdown.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a hell. I thought that's what your hat was celebrating.
No,
It's
it's for George
lockdown
Clinton.
day.
It was the whole.
I got it. I understand. So lockdown day. Oh my.
All right, so we have now.
So lockdown day forever.
Here's our final question. It doesn't count.
Okay.
It's just for funsies. But the difference with this question, Keith, is that instead of going to one particular person, it goes to all three of you. And instead of saying it, you're going to write down the answer. And when I give a countdown of 3, 2, 1, you're going to hold the answer up to the camera.
And it's
Final
not
Je-
multiple choice.
It's Final
It's not
Jeopardy.
multiple choice.
Exactly.
Right.
It's literally like
Bum,
Final
bum,
Jeopardy.
bum,
Not
bum,
multiple choice. It's
bum,
a
bum.
fill in the blank. Okay? Are you ready, all of you? The year was 1940. Born today, March 12th, 1940, in Milwaukee, is this jazz pop singer whose 1981 album, Breakin' Away, spent 2 years on the Billboard 200. Name that artist who sang on We Are the World and also sang the theme song for TV's Moonlighting?
Oh, I'm sure you guys know this. 1940, born in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
1940, jazz singer.
Yes. Jazz pop singer.
Jazz pop. Born in Milwaukee. It's not Golda Meir.
What was the name of the song that was on the charts for 2 years?
Well, his 1981 album, Breaking Away, spent 2 years on the Billboard 200. He also sang on We Are the World and sang the theme song for TV's Moonlighting.
I think I know who it is, but I can't think of his name, so I think I'm writing the wrong answer. But be that as it may.
Yeah, this happens to me all the time. If I wasn't writing these things, I would get like 2 points per game probably. So
that makes us feel so much better, Dave.
It should. It should. And by the way, Keith, you came so close to winning this, which is amazing.
Yeah,
Story of my life.
Congratulations,
Story of my
Keith.
life.
Nice. Come back and do it again.
Yeah. So here's
Story
the
of my life.
because I'm gonna read it one more time. Are you guys all ready with an answer?
Yeah, no.
An answer. You can write nunsforfun.com.
Do we have to jump in that green water if we don't get it?
Absolutely. All right, here we go. I'm going to read the question, give a 3, 2, 1, and show your answer, please. The year 1940, born today in Milwaukee, is this jazz pop singer whose 1981 album Breaking Away spent 2 years on the Billboard 200. Name that artist who sang on We Are the World and also sang the theme song for TV's Moonlighting. 3, 2, 1. Let's say
It's wrong, but it's funny.
I see Popeye. I can't see yours, Vicki. What are you holding?
Liberace.
Liberace? Yeah, certainly
I
not.
was born in Milwaukee.
The best answer there is Lionel Richie, but that is not the correct answer either. But that's I almost want to give you a quarter point for that one because that's real good, Leslie. Not true. Not the and the answer.
I need your quarter point. I don't need your charity. I won fair and square.
Keep your stinking charity.
That's right. You already
Keep
won.
your stink. We don't need no stinking charity. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Until next time when I might need it. Yes. What?
Leslie, that you were kicked out of the Girl Scouts for asking for more points. That's why they did it. That's why it happened.
I never made it to the Girl Scouts. I got kicked out of the Brownies. I was 7.
The Brownies.
Dad.
Mad.
What's the answer?
It's like the Girl Scouts, only nuttier. But anyway, okay, sorry. And the answer to the question is that person that we were looking for, Al Jarreau.
Oh, Al Jarreau.
But okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So anyway, no points for the tiebreaker, but it doesn't matter. None of this really matters, does it? But congratulations to Leslie Hoban Blake. Now let's do some promotion. Let's do some pushing. So first of all, our wonderful new friend Keith Alessi, who is now Keith. I don't want to put you on the spot, but since you're here, and since we want to get people to go to Fresno, where you're going to be at one more day at the festival, doing Tomatoes Tried to Kill Me, but Banjo Saved My Life, and then you're going to be in the Edinburgh Fringe. Is it imposing to ask you to do a little whatever, or do you have an instrument here?
Yeah, no, I don't have anything here, but the long and short of it is, I was a business guy, always wanted to play banjos, built a world-class collection of them, couldn't play them. Got a cancer diagnosis at the University of Chicago, hospital there. I was supposed to be dead, so I learned how to play them. So I'm just out telling my story. And it's a charity pursuit. We just hit $500,000 that we've raised. That's my gate. I donate 100% of my gate to cancer charities and to theaters post-COVID because they all got hammered. So there's no way for people to see me.
Yeah, sorry, this is my wife.
No, go ahead, Keith.
Joining, yeah, please.
Yeah, there's no way to see the show unless they come to the Fringe Festival. We're going to be in Ottawa. We're going to be in Winnipeg. But we do this thing because I feel compelled to do it. And we just have amazing interactions with people every night. Just had a lovely audience last night. A lot of people, they always come out of the audience with their stories. And it's been, I admire you folks who spent a career in the theater. I mean, I was a business guy, and this has been probably the most rewarding stuff I've ever done. So I've been just periphery of what you folks do has been first class.
Wow.
Well, Keith, have you filmed it and could you stream it for a fundraiser or something like that?
I send it to anybody who wants to see it for free because it's the message, and some people, every night I go in the theater, I don't know who's supposed to hear it. So I'm happy
Well,
to
if you
donate
put
my
a
gate.
link, if you
Yeah.
put a link and you send it to me, I'll send a donation to the link.
Nah, you don't need to do that, but I'm happy to send
But
links.
I'm donating to everything.
She
So
has.
why
Okay.
wouldn't I donate to somebody I know?
Okay, the Esophageal Cancer Awareness Network is a good one. That's what I had. But yeah, I'll shoot Dave a link and he can distribute it.
Yeah, I think a link, by the time I write down esophageal, it'll be tomorrow. So
Yeah, I'll shoot something to Dave. He can distribute it.
The reviewer said that not all of us.
I have to tell you though, you had your Saul on the road to Damascus moment with that cancer diagnosis. I got a breast cancer diagnosis last year. I had surgery, radiation, and I'm cancer free. And I'm still waiting for my moment. So maybe I'm supposed to do a one-woman show, but it's not interesting enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like boom, boom, boom in the middle
But
of a
Leslie,
pandemic.
Talking
Yeah.
about cancer may not be your thing, but maybe talking about your early career as an actress or directing.
Oh, nobody wants to hear that. I come on your show and I tell stories. That's nobody wants to hear about my early career, which goes back to the days of the dinosaurs. Me and Tallulah Bankhead, out there with the dinosaurs.
Leslie, I have the title for it, Bad Brownie. That Bad Brownie. That should be the title of your show right there. That your childhood, right?
Bad Brownie. Well, I'll write it down. Actually, that's a very good idea.
Bad Brownie, no cookies for me.
Yeah.
Bad Brownie. No, I'll stick to the short one. I'll let Keith have the long one.
Yeah,
But
Keith,
Keith,
every night.
are you a Steve Martin fan with the banjo? Are you
Oh
a fan
God!
of his?
Oh God! Yes, I love Steve Martin. In fact, at the Old Town School of Folk Music there in Chicago, I went to a concert, and I won the silent auction to have the banjo that he signed in the whole 9 yards.
That's great.
But
wow.
Every night I close my show with the countdown or count up, and tonight is 6 years, 3 weeks to the day from my surgery. So
Wow.
I had a 15% chance of surviving 5, so I've made it through the window.
That's great.
Oh my God. So yours was, you had to have chemo, right?
Yeah, I had chemo, radiation, and then they took out my esophagus.
Well, how
Holy
So
cow.
I have a chest stomach. I have a little itty bitty chest stomach right here. Yeah, it's like a
Oh
reverse.
my God. But
Yeah,
you're here.
yeah.
but
so
you're
it was
here.
at the time I
able
had
to
it.
Well, wait,
At the time
wait. All right, hold on. So, I'm just curious now. So you eat. Let's say you go for dinner, right? You can eat food. You put the
Yeah.
food in your mouth. You chew it.
Yeah.
You enjoy it, and it goes down your throat.
Yep.
Right, and then.
Yeah, I have to sleep sitting up. I can only eat. Vicky's fish sandwiches are about the size I can eat. I have to eat. I can't go to the all-you-can-eat buffet anymore. But it beats the alternative.
Yes.
Well,
No,
you
you
could,
look
but you just can't
wonderful.
eat very much. You're the
Yeah,
kind of person they want.
Well,
Yeah, I was lucky. I had good genetics, but I'm
You
hanging
should
in
be a
there.
poster boy. In addition to
is.
doing your own show, you should be a poster boy. They put
Yeah.
people up with cards if they had one guy on who went for a test. He was looking at cards and then he went for a test, and then they found out he had something and they treated it. So he went out and bought himself a car. And I'm thinking, well, wait, where's his Damascus moment?
Yeah.
Buying himself a car is not it. He should have gone out and done something for other people. That's what I'm waiting for, that moment to hit me. I'm just donating to
well,
everything.
hey,
That's
maybe
all I
he
can think
became
of
an
to
Uber
do.
driver, and now he's doing tons of things for other people. You never know.
No, he just bought a
Mhm.
sports car,
Yeah.
a midlife crisis sports car
All right. Okay.
after
Well,
his midlife crisis. Sorry.
so here's the deal. I do want to.
Congratulations on your recovery.
But
Thank
we
you.
haven't pushed yet quite, even though you haven't done a new episode in a week or 2 or 3. You can watch older episodes of Critics Circle featuring our friend Leslie Hoban Blake and our other friend Charlie Gross on YouTube. On the
Lots of things. Dave made an appearance. Lots of good friends came in. I did something this week. I do have an announcement.
Oh.
I RSVP'd to my first show, and it happens to be Plaza Suite, which is O&M DKC. So I also asked for, so that I can vote, MJ, Company, and Music Man, the much contested Music Man, which I will also try to see before April. I will go as long as they keep the mandate, the vaccination mandate.
It's going to be from April at least.
That's through April as of now. If they take that off, I'm not going.
Mm.
Right.
I talked to my doctor about it, but he said, look, you might as well give it a shot because there's so few places that are doing that now that it's probably safer than any place else.
Yeah, no restaurant is gonna. Well, of course, the restaurant.
And they want proof of a recent within 6 hours of a COVID test. I mean, they're not playing
Oh.
games.
Good.
So
Or if you do, no, they want proof that you've either been vaxxed. They want to know if you're boosted.
or the COVID
Or the
test.
COVID,
But
yeah.
you know, right. And I'm going back for I'm going to go get a second booster. So I want it all.
Nice.
Vicki, you have a show. I guess you're doing a show tonight at the Greenhouse.
That's right. I also want to say that this summer for me, it's 7 years cancer free.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had uterine cancer.
We should hug. We
Yeah.
should.
Virtual.
My mother had
hug.
that and survived. My mother
Yeah.
survived uterine cancer.
Yeah. So
And
it's for
I
all of us.
certainly
It's
never
great.
expected breast cancer at my age. I thought, what the fuck? Pardon my language. But
Yeah.
it was a total,
Yeah.
But congratulate. Well, we should take shots at pictures and then take shots as well.
Here. Yeah, here. You know what? I'm going to take a picture of all of us. Here,
Oh
look.
wait,
real
I've got
quick.
a thing on my screen. Wait.
I can do mine too. I can do this.
Does
All right,
David
here
have
we
to
go.
wear
1,
that
2,
funny
3.
hat? Wait. Does David have to wear that funny hat? Okay.
Well,
Okay.
all right,
That's-
fine. There we
No,
go.
I like that. Okay, one more. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. All right, good. And I will send that out. I have no idea how good
Oh,
that
thank you
looks.
so much. I don't have a place. I have a place to record, but not a place to take a picture.
Yeah, I can take a picture on my and then
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
again. You know what? Here, do it one more time because then
I don't
I
seem to
will
have a
look
thing on.
directly into the camera. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll see if that looks good. I'll send it out to people.
Well,
But here's what
David is going to be the best one.
here's my book.
Oh, put that up too. Put that on the side and then take a picture. No,
well,
put that to
is
your right and
Vicki
then
Quade's
take another
book,
picture.
Close Encounters
No,
of
it's
the
hard. I have to do
Oh,
like
well, you
that.
can't do that, right?
It's
Okay.
all right.
How can people get the book?
We don't
Vicki?
need it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
How can people get Close Encounters of the Chicago?
Oh, you have to go
got so
online
small,
because
Keith. You suddenly
this-
got minuscule. You leaned back and you went out of the picture.
Yeah.
frame.
the issue with this book is that it came out as a pandemic, project, and it came out when no bookstores were open.
Right.
And so you can only go online. So it's Eckhart's Press, ECKHARTZ, Eckhart's Press, which is here in Chicago. It's a legitimate, wonderful publishing house, and you can get it online.
I mean, let's face it, most
also,
books are bought online anyway.
If you don't want the actual copy, it is available on Amazon as
a Kindle thingy.
audio. Yeah,
Yeah. Excellent.
Not
Wait, did you do an
audio,
audio
whatever.
book also of it? Did you do an audio?
it's not an audio. It's like a Kindle thing.
Okay,
You know.
cool.
yeah.
Well, once again, congratulations, first of all, to Leslie Hoban Blake winning our game today, and congratulations on starting to make the reservations to go back to the theater. I'm starting.
I
to do
know.
that.
I still haven't been in a theater, but I'm getting there.
Getting 2 years.
So
Is,
by-
2 years is.
Oh boy.
And Vicki Quade, congratulations on doing your shows, Late Night Catechism, and coming up pretty soon.
With Easter Bunny Bingo.
Easter Bunny, yes, Easter Bunny bingo. Oh,
And-
wait, don't go. I have
Okay,
something.
we're
No,
ready.
I have something I have to show you. Wait,
Okay.
wait.
All right.
Meanwhile, Keith Alessi, you're in Fresno. When is your show today? We have California.
8 o'clock tonight, but it's sold out, so we're good.
And when is Edinburgh?
Oh,
There's your Easter Bunny bingo.
beautiful.
This is for my friend's little baby.
Oh,
But
it's
and it was in a
adorable.
box. I had to pull it out of the box. But isn't he adorable?
Adorable.
And I got a
Really?
book about Easter bunnies and
Yeah.
the kid's like 8 months old and weighs about 12 pounds. He was a monster child.
Yeah, but no, Leslie, it's the thing is, if he doesn't want it, I'll take it because I've been thinking about getting a hair transplant. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
well,
that-
Keith.
On that
On
note,
that note,
Yeah,
On
exactly.
that note,
ladies and gentlemen, we've been playing the today.
beat me up, Scotty, on that. Yes.
Thank you, guys. Time to thank you, Keith. Thank you, Vicki. Thank
Thanks.
you, Leslie. Letting you all go. Have a wonderful week, and stay well. And we'll probably see all of you back in the neighborhood real soon. Thanks,
Sounds
a lot,
good.
guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
I won't be here next week.
Right, we know that. So actually,
Okay.
Vicki, I can ask you right now. Do you want to come and play? Are you available to play?
I think I
Saturday.
am. I can check. I'll check and confirm with you.
I can confirm. Would be great to see you next time this week. doing the Today Yesterday quiz. Bye-bye, Vicki.
Bunny and I
Bye.
say bye-bye. Bunny and I
Bye-bye.
say bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Bunny.
It's
Wasn't
the
that a word?
softest. I mean, I'd give it away. It's so soft and lovable to hug, you know?
Yeah, that's what they say
Whoa,
about
I
me.
missed hugging something. This is actually
Oh, bye-bye. Okay, all righty. Ha! Well, it is just about 11:30 in the morning here, Eastern Time, on the day that's gone by. What was that,
You
Bev?
feel naked that you don't have.
I know,
Why
it's like-
aren't you wearing pants?
Nobody knows.
Why aren't you wearing pants?
Why should I?
Because you're doing a show. Where are your pants?
I got a little lazy this morning. I didn't put
Oh
on my shorts.
God.
And as the world knows for the past 2 years, you don't really have to wear pants if you're.
No, if you stand up, you need to wear pants.
Well, if I stand up below that's one of the good things about the
If there was,
level.
like, a reason that you had to stand up, you gotta put pants on, dude.
All right, okay, all right. Anywho, I got ants in my pants. I need to dance. Ha! That's Joyce. She's my wife. This is the show. It's called Dave's Gone By. Our 841st episode. We've been calling it Funkadeli in honor of the earlier conversation that Rabbi Saul Solomon had with George Clinton of P-Funk. Remember, you can go see George Clinton in person. He's going to be performing his funky classic music at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center on March 18th. Yes, indeed. Well, we have a bit more to do on the program. We still have a half hour of show to go, and sometimes, believe it or not, sometimes we even go a little overtime.
No.
Go figure. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned to come. We've got our friends of the Daverhood. But, hon, are you feeling like a little bit criminal-ish? A little bit, maybe? That's my cue. It's the cue to let you know that our next segment is called Greeley Crimes and Old Times, and I'll explain it once I play the theme. Pow! Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Diddly dee 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 dee. Yes, Greeley Crimes and Old Times it is, which we do
How great
here.
that Leslie won. I mean, that's great.
And the fact that
Yeah.
Keith,
He did
he
extremely
was so
well.
close to winning, man, and he never played the game before. You can tell he's a really smart, like,
You got a good review, David. I'm happy for him.
well, he's got many good reviews about his show.
No, but a recent,
Oh,
you know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's what you get for doing these fringe festivals.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I'm
like,
glad he wasn't killed by scenery. That's good too.
yeah, exactly.
Man survives terminal, illness, and then gets killed by falling board on set.
So we call this segment Greeley Crimes and Old Times, and what it has to do with is two columns that are in the Greeley
I
Tribune.
believe it's 2 columns in a row.
One from column A and one from column B in the Greeley Tribune, which is a real actual newspaper in northern Colorado with real story. I mean, this is a ridiculous headline, but usually it's more like, what's going on in Greeley and Evans and Johnstown. Not quite Fort Collins. That's already a
But
little.
trees can kill you. I think that's good too.
Actually, it should be Fort Collins because Fort Collins is even north of Greeley.
I
but
don't know.
I
Probably territorial.
But here's the deal. There are two intentionally funny columns in the Greeley Tribune every week, and they're both taken from real things. First of all, one is called Cop Log, and it's people who see weird stuff going on in their neighborhood and think, ooh, I better call the police. And they do. And it's public record, and sometimes the things they're calling about are a little bit ridiculous, so they put them in the paper for fun. Also, our friend Mike Peters goes through the newspapers from 100 years ago and finds items that are most bemusing to those of us reading them 100 years later in the paper. So we mix them up and call them Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Are you ready for your first crime, my dear?
I don't know if I am.
Well, I'm sitting watching the phone. I'm hoping someone will call. Okay, I got. Oh, hello. Wait. Static on the. A caller on 22nd Street said, really? Okay. Said that a woman took off her pants and was acting strange while digging through a ditch. I wonder what ditch was she digging into? But no. These are real things that happened and people called about. For example, a woman on 8th Avenue, reported that her backpack, quote, took off, okay, and that, quote, Greeley and Weld County monsters have it, unquote. I do think, they have a gang problem throughout most of Colorado, but the monster problem, are the police really doing anything about the monsters and ghoulies that are living up there in northern Colorado? I wonder. And if they're not, it's about time. A caller on 21st Avenue. Oh, it's funny, the phone didn't, yeah. Oh, okay, you need to move. Yeah. A caller on 21st Avenue said his roommate was acting violent and kept talking about, quote, a receiver and transceiver in his head. Now, I guess that's better than having a woofer and tweeter in your ass. But still, ladies and gentlemen, yes, you're watching Dave's Gone By. Let's do some old-timey stuff. These were in the Greeley Tribune Republican newspaper back in 1922, 100 years ago. And it wasn't a Republican, political newspaper. The name of the paper was the Greeley Tribune Republican back then. Frank E. Jackson, a former Greeley resident, was named National Horseshoe Champion. Wow. Again. He's held the title for 6 years and says he does horseshoe throwing by, quote, the scientific method. He didn't explain what that was. He also called the sport, I like this, barnyard golf. That's cute. Horseshoe, barnyard golf. Okay. Couldn't make a joke about him being lucky because of the horseshoe. I'm just going to move on. A group called the Near East Relief. Talk about this. This is 100 years ago, the way the world changes and yet somehow remains the same. A group called the Near East Relief has approached Greeley, asking citizens to donate help to help the starving Russians. Russia is being attacked by Turkey, and the citizens are starving. So, first of all, if they're being attacked by Turkey, you'll figure, just broil them, and you've got tons of things to eat. But what a difference 100 years makes, right? So 100 years ago, Russia attacked by Turkey, and we're helping the poor Russians. And this is already this would have been post-revolution. This would have been 1922. Wow. And now Russia is the aggressor.
German Russians or Russian Germans, I think, in that area.
Yeah, the world. It's the world. In a civil suit at the courthouse, one man was awarded $2,700 by the court, but the loser had no money. So the judge told the sheriff. What do you think he told the sheriff to do?
Shoot him?
No.
Sell some hobos?
Close enough. The judge told the sheriff to go to the loser's house and auction off his belongings until they reach the amount of the lawsuit.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah. Imagine doing that to when somebody loses a $12 million. Actually, what does happen? They sue somebody.
If you go to bankruptcy, I think you gotta repay, but most people default on the loan. Yeah.
What can you do? If somebody sues you for $10 million and you make.
They seize assets. All these I remember one time they went into a house. I saw one of these shows and they took the car and they.
Oh, they do.
But they like a Ponzi scheme, but they never make enough to pay back everybody.
They can't. How can they?
That's sad.
Yeah, I mean, in the nice way, I'm seeing commercials now for places that can take your college loan.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. Yeah.
Cut those down by a certain percentage. Great, fine, everybody wins. Well, actually, no. The people loaning the money don't win really because they're not getting all their money back. But there were such usurious rates anyway that fair is fair. Oh, by the way, we're talking about white supremacists and people like that before. Members of the Denver Ku Klux Klan sent a letter, this is 100 years ago, to a black man in Denver and threatened to kill him. He fled to Utah. The Denver district attorney is looking at the case and said, quote, it's the first unlawful act of the KKK in Denver. The letter was signed that he's complaining, that he's talking about, the KKK letter, was signed by several men and was written on official KKK stationery, which, honestly, that carries so much more weight than, the usual Bond stationery that, or the motel stationery that they use. If you got a good KKK quote with the water seal and everything on that, I think it's much scarier. Anywho, let's get to some elsewhere material, because every week on Dave's Gone By, not only do we do stories from Greeley and northern Colorado, but we sneak in a tale or two from somewhere else. And this one is from right in our backyard here, New York. Here's a story that happened right here in our town. And this is, oh my God. Okay. And I love when this happens. I love the serendipity of doing this show, because here's a story. I plucked it, I found it like a couple of days ago. And literally at the same time, there was another story from like a scientific journal about, Han, do you remember what it was? About beluga whales.
Oh, yeah.
There was this cute little video, apparently, of like a narwhal up there in Alaska, what do you call it, pole territory. And this narwhal was lost. So it's,
it happens, David. They lose GPS.
right, but he was adopted, in a sense, by this school of beluga whales.
It's lovely.
And they can mate. So there is such a thing as a narluga.
It happens.
So you've got the beluga whales with kind of a narwhal-y, narwhals are those things where they got the long unicorny tusks coming out of them. So there is a narluga, ladies and gentlemen.
Hard to mate with them, though.
Well, you've got to be gotta be super careful. Yeah. Okay. So with that in mind, and with that in mind that we just first heard about this a couple of days ago, this story was in the papers in New York this week. In New York, long way from the Poles, right? Well, there's Polish people in New York, but a man who was struggling to breathe was flabbergasted after Mount Sinai surgeons discovered a half-inch long tooth growing inside his right nostril.
What?
Talk about a nasal cavity. Yes. The unnamed 38-year-old New Yorker went to the doctor after experiencing breathing difficulties for several years, according to a New England Journal of Medicine report. Turns out the patient had a deviated septum, of which I know well, when the partition between the nasal passages is pushed to the side, as well as a bone-like growth in his nose. Oral surgeons did a rhinoscopy and found, quote, a hard, non-tender white mass.
Was it a tooth?
Sounds like my mom's mashed potatoes, but no, he has a tooth growing inside his nose. Which is kind of cool. He can pick his nose and also clean his teeth at the same time with the same fingernail. It's kind of interesting. Yes, indeed. True story. True story from the newspapers this past week. Let's stay in another New York story. This is amazing. You probably saw this if you read the New York Post, and who doesn't? New York Post is obviously going to be, as long as there is a Democratic mayor, right, and we have a Democratic governor, as long as that's happening, New York Post is going to make New York look like the worst, most unsafe place in the world, and they're going to cherry pick to put on their cover and to highlight, crazy people dying on the subway. It happens. It happened even when New York was, better and safer under Giuliani. Stuff happened, right? But the New York Post is going to show, like, every day some terrible, terrible, crazy person, mentally ill, homeless person, killing somebody, doing something bad to somebody. But this guy's special. Only in New York, kids. Frank Abrokwa, age 37, was arraigned this week for an incident on a subway platform. He's accused of taking feces out of a plastic bag and shoving it into a 43-year-old woman's face as she sat on a bench waiting for the number 2 train, right? Allegedly, Abrokwa first flirted with her, saying, "Hey, mommy, why don't you talk to me?" When she ignored him, he walked into an idling subway car and pooped in a bag. Then he smeared...
God bless him.
What do you mean God bless him? He pooped in a bag, and then he got off the train, reached into the bag,
If
and
you
then...
if you can poop in a bag on command, that's a skill.
A guy can... Well, you know...
That's a miracle.
Yeah, come to think of it.
Like first he was trying to get a sexual relationship, then he couldn't, then he pooped in a bag. He's amazing.
He has skills. He has mad skills.
He probably takes like what did your dad take?
Beneful.
Miralax.
Miralax, yes.
He just chugs some Miralax and then
He drinks nitrate and then chugs Miralax. It's like...
Would you like some tea?
I don't have a cup up here for it. But thank you for offering. So anyway, so he...
But if you'd like it, would you like it?
Yeah, if you can get me a...
I can wash out my cup.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that'd be great.
Give me a sec, I gotta...
But he didn't just poop in a bag.
Oh, David.
He got off the subway, reached into the bag,
Yeah,
and then mashed his feces into this poor woman's face.
it's beautiful.
Before his court appearance, Abrokwa told cops, he's got my sense of humor, he said, "Shit happens, ha 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 ha."
Funny. But she could have gotten bad diseases.
Of course he's going to get a bad disease. This is a lunatic. What was his crime? Oh, man. No, but he also said, and this is again quoting, "This is a shitty situation. Ha, 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 ha." Okay, fine. This is, and by the way, this is all true. If you go back to the New York Post.
Did he explain why he did it? Like,
There-
what was his...
There's a
No,
what?
I mean, like,
Yeah.
he was mad that she didn't respond to him. But
Well, here's the deal.
I don't get it.
The guy's name is Frank Abrokwa. Frank was less jovial at his arraignment, the story reads. He demanded the judge hurry things up. He said, quote, "I'm fucking tired of it. I'm hungry. Why am I still here? They want to charge me with a hate crime." As Joyce is making the poop noise with a thing of honey, which is great. So, oh, by the way, I think the woman was Asian or something like that. So
Okay,
he's
well,
not only
Did he have
a
a thing
criminal.
for like he was anti-Asian?
Well, it could have been that. It's hard to tell whether he was being anti-Asian because of COVID.
Was he mentally ill?
You have to ask.
No, I mean, was he diagnosed?
The man shits in a bag.
Listen, I remember one time I was working. We were going to homeless shelters, and I was a community health educator.
Yeah.
And literally, I'm talking to the woman, and I turn because you're talking and you're chatting, and the subway car is filled. There's this man about 60 or 70 who is masturbating.
Oh, well, yeah.
And the car is filled. Nobody blinks an eye. And I look at the person. I'm like, "Jenny," and she's like, "Oh my God." She's like, "We should switch cars." I'm like, "Do you think?"
What would have been really funny is everybody on the car started to like fake orgasm noises to help him along. He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, so good. Oh, you're so good, yeah." Like everybody on the car. that'd be great.
I've seen things. Yeah.
Now, when the judge issued an order of protection for the victim,
Good. Yeah.
Abrokwa said, quote, "I don't know that bitch." This man was wearing both a USA baseball cap and a psychedelic jacket. Abrokwa told the judge,
Yeah.
somehow I don't think he's going to get leniency, quote, "Why are you disrespecting me? I'm talking to my attorney. Fuck you, bitch." he's like a hero. He's like the ultimate antisocial lunatic.
He's like the clueless hero. I mean, like, you don't.
Amazingly enough, the judge ordered him returned to his cell.
Yeah.
And this is what the New York Post is, of course, going after. Abrokwa has been arrested 44 previous times, including punching 2 other people on a subway at the port authority.
He needs help, David.
Yeah, well, you know what? He can get help because guess where he is?
Where?
He's currently free on bail.
He should be in the. Well, if Reagan didn't close all the psych hospitals, he could have been
Yeah.
treated.
Right, and also Lindsay took all the people out of the.
No, Reagan was the big in the 80s, you know.
Yeah, but this is how do you do enough crimes to be arrested 44 times? Let alone
Are they
free.
not violent enough that you could get,
Because I know there's people, and I know there's been this back and forth about the 3 strikes and you're out bill,
Yeah.
where even if you have 3 minor crimes like marijuana possession back in the day,
Yeah.
and one other thing, and then the third thing, even if it was like littering, they gotcha, and suddenly they could put you in jail for 5 years.
Yeah,
But here's a man who has done 44 things, including assault, including physical
That's not
assault
good.
of people, arrested for it.
Putting feces in somebody's face is really bad.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people, I mean, you know, on Friday, Saturday night, they get shit-faced. But,
No, but if you choose to do it, but if you're just waiting for a train,
right.
you don't want that. I mean, that has to be something.
Listen, well, again, you should expect it on the number 2 train. You honestly should.
I've been on the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3, and nothing, thank God.
Well, maybe she was on the IRT, like the Irritable Bowel Railroad train or something like that. Anywho, real story, real news, only in New York, kids, only in New York. But let's go back to Colorado to finish off Greeley Crimes and Old Times on this Saturday morning, March 12th, here in the Daverhood.
You're
Here's
just
his...
going to be very sweet, honey, because I put a lot of...
Oh, yeah, all right.
But it's okay, you'll need it for you're talking.
So here's the deal. We're going to go back to crime in northern Colorado that happened just a week or two ago. For example, a woman, this is so awful, a woman on 70th Avenue said someone stole $300 from her purse while she was in an MRI tube.
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, how evil do you have to be to steal from somebody
Well, where
while they're getting
else?
screened for cancer?
Well, you know they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I know.
You know they can't bring in their cell phone or pocketbook because it has metal, so you don't have...
No, but I know a cousin of mine had his laptop stolen when he was at a gym.
Yeah.
You know, he left, it was stupid of him, but he left the laptop like in an unclosed locker or on the bench when he was, and somebody took that. But now, you know, somebody's in an MRI getting screened, and they take money out of her. I mean, just, you know, anywho, a caller. Yeah, hey, hello. A caller on, where are you? You're in 10th Street? Uh-huh. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, don't go where he's going. Yeah, no. Oh, she said a person was etching aggressive comments and the caller's apartment number into the elevator.
Remember that for a good time call?
Right, not only that, you know, remember when they say, you know, come up to my apartment, I'll show you my etchings? You know, here she doesn't have to, she should go in the elevator, and there they are.
That's disrespectful. I remember in high school, and of course, you know, Catholic school, they'd always say, like, for a good time call, or whoever did what sex act, they would put it in the
yeah.
boys'
And
room.
every time I call, it would be the wrong number. So,
Really?
yeah, it just...
Usually they put Sister O'Mary, and she wasn't having it.
No, that's funny. Let's end on this one, or maybe one more. But this is from 100 years ago. The meanest thief in 10 states is somewhere in Greeley or Weld County. This thief stole a setting of eggs from under a hen in a chicken house on 5th Street.
How does that mean? He didn't kill the chicken?
He didn't kill it. Well, the eggs will hatch in a day or two.
Oh,
And the
they're
thief
babies.
apparently
I see.
knew that. Oh, chicken thief. So, you know what? If you put him together with the guy on the train station, then you have a chicken shit thief.
That's bad.
Yeah, go to the
Bad
bed.
for that woman. So bad for her, David.
And finally, ladies and gentlemen, Greeley Crimes and Old Times. In Denver, it is not unusual to see boys under 15 staggering around because of the liquor they drink. Yet Denver abuses us because we have outlawed liquor to everyone. Our boys don't stagger.
Well, there, you know, that as soon as you say that, it's like I remember. Okay, so when I went up in the country in Pennsylvania, there was a kid who was the preacher's kid,
Oh yeah.
and they held him up to such a high standard, and they were the hooligans. He was so naughty, but you know he had to be the. You can't hold anyone up. As soon as you say this never happens with our whatever,
Yeah.
it's the, you know.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
exactly the time when it happened.
Well, this has been the staggering edition of Greeley Crimes and Old Times here on Dave's Gone Bye. Don't go away. We got more show for you.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool.
Oh, he was not.
I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-i.
Yippee-yi,
Yes, yes. So, but before we get on, there's not that much more show because we're almost at the 3-hour mark. But we have still our friends of the Daverhood to talk about, as well as our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we are going to Punkin Center, Colorado. Oh yes, Punkin Center, Colorado. But I do want to share this. This is kind of fun. So my wallet, I've had a great wallet for a couple of years now. I love it. It's been wonderful, but it's getting, and I carry a lot of cards, like, bank cards and this credit card, and then there's the card for points on the coffee place we go to, and the library card, and crap. More cards than a wallet should hold. So it's getting tough to dip in there and get the things, and they're getting stuck, and things are tearing. It was time for old Dave to buy a new wallet. And it's really, you can buy, honest to God, a nice leather wallet from anywhere from under 20 bucks. You don't have to buy a $150 wallet or anything. You get a nice thing. So I found one. I really like it. It's very pretty. I hope it's big enough. I'm wondering when I stuff it full of all the stuff I'm doing now, if it's going to be the same problem. I hope not. So I had it delivered. USPS first class shipping package. And the wallet came fine. It came quickly. It's lovely. Like it a lot. Yeah, I'll show it to you. I'll show the wallet. Hold on. There's a reason I'm telling you all this.
Is that your new wallet?
Yeah, this is my brand new wallet. Came this week. Isn't it? And I love the color brown. Oh, it's got a little bit of a. There, that's better. Pretty hot. Oh, my favorite color. Right. It's got a double billfold with transparency inside, so I can show 2 forms of ID. I can keep my vaccination stuff in here. Don't make enough money to have money in here, but if I did have money, it'd be in there, and some slots for cards. Should be really, really good. And it's got that new leather wallet smell, and I just love. I get high on wallet. I don't need to be George Clinton. I don't need to be doing like crack rock. It's just, wallet. Okay, so I get this in the mail. I probably shouldn't do this, though, too much, because, so this was shipped from Florida. Somebody please explain this to me. It's a wallet, and it has this warning on it. Warning with a question mark. They're not even sure. Cancer and reproductive harm. www.p, 65 warnings.ca.gov from our friends in California, the wokest state. So here's an item that I'm going to be putting in my right hand or maybe left hand pocket next to my balls. Right? I mean, I'm not going to have children at this point, but somehow this is cancer and reproductive harm. It's a leather wallet. Now it does have, or it said it had like RFID coding, so that they can't, they can't scan it the way criminals are apparently able to do and see the credit card numbers or the stripe thing on your thing so that they can steal it and take your identity. Apparently it's one of these wallets that has that protection on it. Now I'm wondering if that protection that they put on there for the RFID is actually a thing that's giving you reproductive and cancerous items. I buy a wallet, and in like a year, I'll be up there with Keith Alessi and Leslie Hoban Blake, and we'll be talking about, and Vicki. And say, oh, yeah, I'm a cancer victim too. I was fine. I was fabulous. And then I started using this wallet. I started taking things in and out of the wallet. I started using money. And suddenly, scrotum cancer. Who knew? Who knew? But I can't say I wasn't warned. Thank you, California. Thank you for the warning.
Like a baby penguin.
What?
I would like a baby penguin. I call them Flips.
Oh, that'd be very cute. Anyway, let's do a little bit more of the Dave's Gone By, Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream. I want to remind you, first of all, that this is our 841st episode. If you want to see or hear any of our older episodes, and we've saved, apart from some technical difficulties here or there, every episode we've ever done. and they're all available to listen to and or watch on our website, davesgoneby.com. DAVESGONEBY. davesgoneby.com. You can download them, or you can just stream them right on your computer as a podcast. Either one, it's all there. It's all free. There's a search button. They're in chronological order. We also have a separate archive of just the interviews we've done on the show. So if you were just looking for the George Clinton and Rabbi Saul Solomon interview, you can search for that, and without having to watch the whole show, just watch that segment in a separate archive right on davesgoneby.com. Also want to remind you that we keep all of our archives and in a channel, I guess you will call it, on archive.org. archive.org. This is a nonprofit website that gathers basically art and entertainment and literature and books from thousands of years, as long as it's basically either public domain or they're given the rights to it. You can listen to old radio shows, watch old TV shows, old movies, and they're all there. Again, it's a public nonprofit project. There's no pay involved. They do ask for donations, but Dave's Gone By, all our stuff is there too, if you want to watch it there and support them. We also put our audio only on a website called castbox.fm. Castbox.fm. And this is a very cool place. It's really just for podcasting. And so if you don't want to watch the show, if you're out and about and you're at the gym, you're taking a long hike or a walk, you want to hear the show, you don't need to see it, you can go to castbox.fm and just download it as a podcast. Castbox.fm, look for the Dave's Gone By channel. I want to remind you, we do have a YouTube channel, even though we've had some problems with it, but they've been okay recently. YouTube, Dave's Gone By is the channel. And don't forget that if you are on Long Island in Nassau County, Tuesday nights at 9:30, Channel 20, they air a 1-hour random excerpt of Dave's Gone By. And every week it's different. So we've got a bunch of these episodes, and they're again, it's slice and dice. It's just completely random, 1 hour of material from one of our shows. Channel 20 on Altice Cable in Nassau County, Tuesday nights at 9:30. Remember, really, that the best way to watch the show, really, the best place to get it, is our website, davesgoneby.com. Best way to reach me, davesgoneby@aol.com is the email address. Or, of course, you can post things on our Facebook page, or if you're a Facebook friend, feel free to instant message me. I read everything. I respond to as much as I can, given the time allotted. But I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts or suggestions. It's so great when we have George Clinton on, and then suddenly we're able to read, oh, so great that you got him on, and thank you for that, and ask this, or if you have him on again, can you ask that? Wonderful. Love hearing from all of you.
Penguin, I named him Pavlov.
Joyce is in a whole other world right now, looking at baby penguins, which I don't blame her. But are you?
No, I just put Castbox in your chat.
Yeah, but you and Mary, our friend Mary,
I would like
is
to
a
name
huge penguin lover.
I could call him Patty if you prefer.
Patty Penguin?
What would be your name for a penguin?
What would be a good name for a penguin? Tux. Well, it would be a good name for a penguin and a medicated pad.
No, I'm not calling it Tux.
Anywho. As long as I'm on this subject, I'm telling you about the show and begging you to go into the archives and watch older episodes of the show. Also, because we've had so many wonderful, famous, and not so famous people on the program, just as we've had George Clinton on the show today. And by the way, thank you very, very, very much to Angela Thomas of the New Jersey Performing Arts Center for setting up that interview. But George Clinton, go see him March 18th at the NJ PAC in Jersey. He is a new friend of the Daverhood, as is Keith Alessi. He was just on.
His name was like Erica Powers or something.
I know, right?
Why was he a different name?
Well, you remember I used to go on here sometimes, and the name was wrong when I would go on Dave's Gone By,
Yeah.
or it would be we would get Rabbi Saul on, it would show my name.
Yeah.
So that's how that happens. But Keith Alessi, Alessi, he did his solo show. Tomatoes Tried to Kill Me, but Banjo Saved My Life. He did that a week or two or three ago at the Fringe Festival, the Frigid Fringe Festival in New York, and now he's doing it at the Fringe Festival in Fresno, California. Don't go tonight because it's sold out. Lucky, lucky, lucky man. And then he's going to do it in Edinburgh over the summer at their Fringe Festival. So, wow. Congratulations to him. And very proud to have him as a friend of the Daverhood. But we also follow up on people who've been on the program in months and years past, and we want to know what they're up to now, because we were lucky to have them on the show a long time ago. They're still active. They're still doing great things. We want to let you know what those great things are in this segment, Friends of the Daverhood. For example, congratulations to a whole bunch of our friends of the Daverhood in the cabaret world. The MAC nominations were announced this week. MAC, Manhattan Association of Cabarets and Clubs. They have an awards ceremony coming up in the spring. I didn't note the date down. But all these people, we're going to do a whole bunch of nominees, and they've all been on this program. For example, nominated for Celebrity Artist, Lilias White, and she is up against Andre DeShields. So we've had both of those folks on the show. Very proud and happy to say that they're MAC nominees this year. Also, for Major Duo and or Group, Jim Caruso. His show that he does with Billy Stritch is up against Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano. So congratulations to all of them. The review, A Swingin' Birdland Christmas, featuring Clea Blackhurst and Jim Caruso. Both of them are friends of the Daverhood. Jim Caruso is also up for Best MC, so congratulations. And nominated for Best Novelty Song is a tune by Tom Tose, co-written by him, called Boo Hoo. And for Major Recording, Karen Mason's new album, Let the Music Play. All of them, congratulations, they are all MAC Award nominees, just announced this week. And we will let you know if any of them win. When that happens, I think about a month from now. I want to also give congratulations to our friend Al Tapper. He and Tony Sportiello are co-running a theater. It's called the AMT Theater. It's being built. Al, probably something Tapper. Probably, okay. Yeah. It's right in Midtown Manhattan. It was the old Ken Davenport Theater. It used to be the 45th Street Theater. It's in a great location. And it was a bit run down. I used to see shows there, but what a fantastic place for a theater. They are putting money into it. They're putting chairs into it. And there was a nice article about it in 42 West magazine. So they hope to open the theater in June. And I was corresponding with Tony earlier this week. And I apologized to him because he was like, hey, Dave, when are you going to put me on Dave's Gone By? And I was like, you've never been on Dave's Gone By? He hasn't. So I felt really, really bad because I'm hitting these guys up to say, hey, when you open that theater, is there room for me? Is there room for a Jewish guy named Rabbi Saul Solomon? Is there? And he's going to be like, it's like, theater's not open yet. Let's just get the theater open. Because I'm reading about all these shows that they're already booking there. I'm like, help! But, maybe if I grease the wheels, and I was like, Tony, come on the show. Take over the whole show. Sure, and if you have a slot. So one back washes the other. I will be washing Tony Sportiello's back sometime in April or actually closer to when the theater opens. So we'll get him on to talk about it. Anyway, he and Al Tapper, who has been on the program, they are going to be opening the AMT Theater off-Broadway in June. God willing, construction goes through. There's no delays or anything. And they had that nice article in 42 West magazine this week. Yeah. Playing tonight in Suffolk at the... Sorry?
I almost dropped my coffee on the computer.
Don't do that. Do not do that. Yeah.
I haven't had coffee in like 15 years.
Tonight in Riverhead, Long Island at the Suffolk Theater. Ooh, I want to go. I really, really do. legendary great comedian Robert Klein.
Oh,
He's
you like him a lot.
he's brilliant. He's just, because they always talk about, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Lenny Bruce, this great troika of the most important modern comedians.
We don't say troika, Trinity.
Trin-
We're not using Russian words.
That's right. The trinity of holy comedians, and then people start mentioning, say, Joan Rivers and Pryor mentioned, but who's the other? Robin Williams.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
but you know what? Robert Klein, he really belongs up there. He hasn't done as much. He didn't release as many albums, which I think was to his detriment. But he's Robert freaking Klein, also an actor, Broadway actor, and he is still performing. If the weather weren't so crummy and it weren't still a pandemic and it weren't, I didn't mind driving out to Riverhead, Long Island, I would be there at the Suffolk Theater tonight.
Why does he perform so far out? Why not closer to
Because they have a nice big theater out in Riverhead.
Like a theater complex.
Yeah. It's not like they used to have it back in the day. The last group, the last anything to play at a big theater called the Rio Theater in Valley Stream, which would have been a mile and a half, was the Moist Sheep. I was in the band that ended the Rio Theater in Valley Stream. Honest to God. But the Rio was the kind of place that Tom Jones, it was like the Westbury. Major people would play there.
Must have taken a downfall if the Moist Sheep were the closing act.
Kinda did. Kinda. I mean,
Sinatra.
let's just say, like at the end of the concert, or one point in the concert, we were doing we had a girl doing the sausage dance, and we started throwing meat, and we didn't think that the audience would throw meat back. And suddenly there was meat flying back and forth.
Yeah. Get E. coli.
Oh, I forget what the song was. It was instrumental.
Face,
What?
Put on a happy face.
It was no. What?
Fly lesbian seagull.
It was a sausage something, just a sausage dance or something, and we had a girl who just was bedecked with sausages, and she was dancing, and then she threw like a couple of links of sausage into the audience, and they started breaking off the pieces of sausages.
I hope she was paid.
No, nobody got paid. Anyway, memories. So, but what I'm saying is, it's not like there's that many theaters around here. You have to go to like, if there's a venue in Hofstra has a.
Oh yeah, like
and Westbury. Westbury's really the closest thing for people who want to see comedians and musicians on tour. We really don't have it.
Where is Riverhead? Is it in Suffolk?
Yeah, Suffolk. It's up there. It's out there.
Oh, okay.
So, but you can see Robert Klein at the Suffolk Theater tonight in Riverhead, Long Island. Tom Chapin is having his birthday concert today at the Town Crier up in Beacon, New York, which I believe is Westchester, if not upstate New York. I think it's Westchester. And then tomorrow, Nellie McKay at City Winery in Manhattan. Go see her. Very, very talented lady. She was so fun to have on the show, Nellie McKay. Letting you know that on Monday, the cherishable Leroy Reams is going to be at Feinstein's 54 Below, celebrating Hirschfeld. I don't know how you do that in concert since Hirschfeld was a cartoonist, but if anybody can do it, Leroy Reams can do it. He's wonderful. He's at Feinstein's 54 Below on Monday. And then Wednesday and Thursday of this week, you can see Sam Harris. He will be performing at Feinstein's 54 Below. On Thursday, Alice Ripley, the Tony-winning actress, she will be in the reading of a new musical called Fall 94 at the Alabama Shakespeare Festival. So who knows, maybe in 2 or 3 years we'll see that on Broadway, a show called Fall like 94 for 1994 with Alice Ripley. At least she's doing the reading out at ASF. And then Friday night, this Friday, at the Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood, New Jersey, our beloved Judy Collins, she was just on the show 2 weeks ago. And then also on Friday, David Yazbek is starting he's previewing a new musical that he is working on. Remember that Yazbek did The Full Monty and Women on the Verge. He suddenly went from Beethoven to Louie Louie doing the touchy. Hold on.
There you go.
Let's do this again. There we go. David Yazbek has a new musical that he is writing. It's called Dead Outlaw, and he's going to play some songs from it at 54 Below. That is happening this coming Friday night. And of course, as we have been saying, Friday night, March 18th, George Clinton, Newark, New Jersey, the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, njpac.org for tickets. Want to remind you that the now MAC nominated Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano are at Birdland every Saturday night, now through the end of March. So go see them tonight if you can't make it out to Riverhead. Want to let you know that Robert Cuccioli is starring in the Eugene O'Neill play A Touch of the Poet, being revived by Irish Repertory Theater off Broadway over on West 22nd Street in Manhattan. That is happening now through the middle of April. And then on Broadway, the word of the day, Chicago, the musical. Ray Bachur is playing Amos. Alan Menken has written, of course, the music for the musical Aladdin on Broadway at the New Amsterdam Theater. Jim Caruso's Cast Party, he is also a MAC nominee. That is at Birdland on Monday nights. What? Yeah. And then our usual reminders. StageBuddy.com, which I used to actually work for and write for and edit for, they're still around and still publishing stories about New York nightlife. Evan Seplow is the founder and editor of StageBuddy.com. DrDemento.com for new and old archival Dr. Demento shows. BobCudmore.com for Bob's stories about upstate New York history. SoundsOfBroadway.com, where you can listen to Broadway show tunes 24/7. Stuart Brown is the founder of that particular website. And then finally, I want to remind you to read some of the theater critics who have been on this program and who still write. Theater's happening all over the country. It's going on. So if you want to read reviews of shows in Milwaukee, Anne Siegel is readable on TotalTheater.com. You can also read reviews by Mary Shen Barnage of shows in Chicago and reviews by Willard Manus of shows that are happening in Los Angeles. It's all there at TotalTheater.com. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Thank you, Ludwig Bahn. So we have one more thing, and I apologize beforehand, but yes, we do have one more item to take care of on this episode of Dave's Gone By, our 841st, for many, many, many months now. Every week on the show, I've been reciting a poem that I have written about some place in the great state of Colorado. Joyce and I lived in Colorado for many years. We lived in Greeley. I've written a poem about that. We would visit Denver, and I wrote a poem about that. We'd be in Fort Collins. I think I wrote a poem about that one too. Pretty much, what turned into just a cute little thing of writing a couple of poems about places in Colorado has now ballooned into more than 170 Limerick poems, each one devoted to a different state, a different city, a different county, maybe a different little hickburg, an unincorporated municipality, something in Colorado. Some of them are easier to do, some of them a little more difficult. This one was a little on the more difficult side, but old Dave was up to the challenge of doing a poem about Punkin Center, Colorado. Oh yes, there's a Punkin Center, Colorado, and it's our Limerick of the Damned this week.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, our Colorado, or as we out there say, Colorado, Limerick of the Damned. There is something called Punkin, Punkin, Punkin Center, Colorado. It's a rural community, you probably could guess, a rural community in eastern central Colorado, just south of Lyman, for those of you who are taking stock. Wikipedia says that when John Stevens built the first store there in 1920, he painted it and other buildings a pumpkin orange color, hence the name Punkin Center, Colorado. Alas, a fire burned the town to the ground back in 1950. There's really nothing there now. According to, this is also in Wikipedia, I love this quote, the town's mostly white population was 4, according to a Denver Post article. So what is it? How do you, is 4 people in the town and it's a mostly white, does that mean?
That means somebody moved in.
So there's that 4th person, and everybody crosses the street when he's on the other side of the street.
Oh no, it's Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so.
It's like there's 4 houses on the block. And it's like, oh, we'll go to that house.
The bad side of town, quote unquote.
Yeah.
They redline it.
Oh my God. And believe it or not, and what was kind of interesting, maybe you have heard of the town name before, Punkin Center, because there is another Punkin Center in Arizona.
Really?
Yeah. By the time I get to Punkin Center, I'll be 80.
Do they get it confused because there's 2 of them?
You go looking for the right Punkin Center, and you go 150 miles out of your way, and boom, and suddenly you're in the wrong one. It just ruins your day. Ladies and gentlemen, I've written a poem. Yeah, and it's a bad one. Get the kids out of the room. This is a poem about Punkin Center, Colorado. A cautious whore I know in Punkin Center says you must wear 3 condoms when you enter. She has so many crazy rules, the men who fuck her feel like fools, but if you got the money, you can rent her. I apologize in retrospect for reading that poem, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. If you have any complaints, and I'm sure you do, please send them to davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. Plus, you can also post messages for me on our Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. Message me directly on our Facebook page. Don't forget to check our Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. It's Radio Dave and the number 2. I forgot even to thank Rabbi Saul Solomon, who did the interview with George Clinton.
I wonder if George Clinton ever did his hair, like did the rabbi's hair.
He could. He would. Remember, he really did start out. He had a barbershop. He was a hairstylist, and then.
But what I like that he said, he's like everybody has different words for things. The preacher, the politician, and the pimp.
Yeah, this is true. The prince. What am I? I'm none of the above. I'm neither preacher nor politician nor pimp. I'm what? And the putz. That'd be me. Anywho, but Rabbi Saul Solomon, find out more about him. Watch so many of the interviews that he's done for this program. It's all there at his website, shalomdammit.com. Shalom, DAMMIT, shalomdammit.com. There too, and there's an easy search function, to scroll through the list of all the people that he's interviewed. You've also got the archive of all his mini sermons, his rabbinical reflections, and we do want to tell you, this is exciting, that Rabbi Saul will be live this Thursday night, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, because Gingold Theatrical Group, an off-Broadway outfit in New York, Gingold Theatrical Group, is having an second annual, I think it is, Valentine's Day virtual poetry. Oh, wow. After 3 hours, I lose it. Gingold Theatrical Group last month did their Valentine's Day poetry slam. They are now following it up a month later with their annual St. Patrick's Day poetry and arts slam virtually. So they've invited both some famous people who have worked with that theater company, as well as anybody, friends of the company, to perform. You get 3 minutes. It is live. You just go one after the other, as so many theaters have done over the past 2 years when the world has gone virtual. So yeah, you don't have to leave anywhere. You have to go anywhere, and it's free to watch. But somewhere in there, it's a 90-minute event virtual live happening this Thursday from 6 p.m. Eastern to 7:30 in the evening on the Gingold Theatrical Group's Facebook page. So just tune in. And so I don't know if Rabbi Saul will be on in the first half hour, the second half hour, the third half hour, or he might be squeezed out altogether. We just don't know. But he's signed up for the open mic of the St. Patrick's Day Gingold Theatrical Group St. Patrick's Day Slam this Thursday night from 6 to 7:30 in the evening, free and live on Facebook. If you saw Rabbi Saul's Valentine's Day piece that he did for their Valentine's Day Slam, you're definitely gonna wanna tune in for this, especially since Rabbi Saul, being the intellectual type, he's gonna take on the poetry and writing of James Joyce. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. So anyway, find out more about Rabbi Saul, shalomdammit.com. Again, you can watch his rabbinical reflections. You can also see his stage show, Shalom Dammit, an evening with Rabbi Saul Solomon, that we would like to bring to the AMT Theater. Tony, Al, Just saying. You want to see?
You can't want something too hard. You're too thirsty, baby.
Am I too thirsty?
Less thirsty.
How can I even do that? When you really want something so bad.
You know your product. You got to present it in a way that it will appeal to them and show them the advantage that it is for them to bring you to their theater.
Oh, there's no advantage. You know me. You know Rabbi Saul.
Well, you have to figure that out.
Yeah. Anyway, but find out more, shalomdammit.com, and check the Rabbi's Twitter feed as well. It's at Rabbi Saul Solomon, at Rabbi SOLSOLOMON. So, and thank Rabbi Saul for being on the show today. And thanks so much also to George Clinton, my God, the P-Funk Godfather.
He was such a great guest.
And he was so much fun and so normal.
He
you know?
had no ego, very humble.
Yeah, and he's so important.
Real. He related to the rabbi, man to man, real person to real person.
Yeah. Well, which was interesting because only one was a real person.
No, but I love when he talked about all the drugs he did and everything. I mean, that's like...
He's right, yeah.
And they saw the UFO. I hope he wrote a book.
I wonder if he's written an autobiography. I would read his autobiography for sure.
I would too, in a heartbeat.
Anyway, so thank him so much. And one more time, thank you to Angela Thomas of the New Jersey Performing Arts Center.
She set up the interview.
Yeah, she did. And then, thank you very, very much. I mean, it's huge. Because while, over the weeks, I was saying, this is never going to happen. And then she's looking into it. And she said, thank you, but no thank you. And he's too busy. And suddenly it's like, no, it's really happening. And I'm like, okay. And it really happened. And I'm so proud. And you can watch, if you missed it or you want to share it with other people, it'll be in the archives within about 24 hours from now on davesgoneby.com. Thank you also to Leslie Hoban Blake for... And she won the game today. So congratulations to her winning our Today-Yesterday quiz. And remember, you can watch her in older episodes of Critics Circle on the Critics Circle channel on YouTube, and also older episodes of Two on the Aisle with our friend Charlie Gross. That's also available on YouTube, too. Thank you to Keith Alessi, Alessi. Go, it's sold out, I'm afraid. Not afraid, it's wonderful. It's sold out tonight when he's doing the show in Fresno at their Fringe Festival, but it's going to be at Edinburgh. Tomatoes tried to kill me, but banjos saved my life. Go see it there, and I'm sure he's going to try and bring it elsewhere. Yeah, so, and such a good new friend of the Daverhood to have Keith Alessi on the show. And thank you, of course, filling in for our missing and beloved David Sheward, we had Vicki Quade, who will be tonight performing in Chicago at the Greenhouse Theater in Late Night Catechism, which she co-created all those years ago with Mary Pat Donovan. So yes, what wonderful people we have involved in Dave's Gone By. And let me tell you some of the other folks that we have coming up on the show. So again, another person that I'm hoping will not fall through. I mentioned Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits. Basically, everybody calls him Herman at this point. Well, yeah, he's touring, he's still performing, and it looks like we really are gonna get him on the show. So, yay. We'll be more exacting and for sure about that by next week. Want to let you also know that we have booked a singer, songwriter, performer, a polymath, and also someone who goes through various identities. She's probably best known as Tammy Faye Starlight, but she is also Tamar, the Israeli pop singer. She's going to be coming on the show. Not sure what date, probably late March, might be late April. It dovetails with a cabaret performance that she's doing. But Tammy Faye Starlight, going to be in the Daverhood as well. And then we've also just booked, who did we booked yesterday? Well, it's in May, so it's going to be coming up. But we have a Jewish guy, someone, he's appearing wrote and is appearing in a one-person show. Is that Moses? Is that, forgive me for not knowing this off the top of my head. I should really say it. And it's not, you know what? Come on, why won't it? Oh, I see, that's why it won't. Give me a minute. Because I'm also saving one more. I'm letting you know who's going to be on the show next week. It's going to be a great conversation next week. You're not going to want to miss it. But yes, we are confirmed in May with Michael Takif. I hope, or maybe Takif. It's Takiff. And he's doing a one-person show that is called Jews, God, and History, not necessarily in that order. So it's really going to be like a history of Jews on this planet that will be being performed in New York. It's going to be where? It's going to be previewing in mid-May, opening May 21st for a run through June 5th. And it's going to be at the Flea Theater, which is they moved, they had an older home, and they're reworking the whole Flea Theater now for various reasons. But he will be there at the Flea Theater in mid and late May with his play, Jews, God, and History, not necessarily in that order. Of course, he will be talking to Rabbi Saul Solomon. Yep, his name again is Michael Takif. Just have to check that. Michael Takif. But I haven't told you next week's guest, next Saturday, March 19th, 2022, in the Daverhood. Well, it's going to be a great convo because there's a woman who has been making documentary films now for like about 15, 20 years. And she does a lot of them on commission, and a lot of them about some very dark, heavy subjects. She's actually done about 3 different films about Russia and modern Russian history.
Oh, wow.
She also did a documentary about the Curie family and radium and radiation. She did a documentary movie about thalidomide. So lots of fun there. But what's really out of the blue is that she's also a radio person, or was back in the day. And so fell in love with freeform radio, was on legendary and fell into the toilet WBAI radio in New York. And so has a love for WBAI, and she's made a movie about Steve.
Oh, David, we talked about Girl Scouts. Today was National Girl Scout Day.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Well, wait. I think we brought that up. Yeah, because she was the founder of the thing. But Rosemary Reed has a movie out about Steve Post. Now, Steve Post was one of the great founding voices of WBAI radio, along with people like Bob Fass. And I really wasn't listening. It was a little before my time as a radio listener. But who else were the great? Peter Beauchamp, he might have been a little bit later. But if you're from New York and you cared about freeform radio and you knew about the George Carlin stuff, and it was the late 60s, early 70s, BAI was like this radical, freeform, leftist, crazy station that was really important to the radio. Now it's pure fringe. Now, and there's still some cute stuff on it. And don't forget that Everything Old is New Again is on WBAI on Saturday nights or Sunday nights. And David Rothenberg does a show on Saturday mornings. He's a press agent I've known for many years, and he plays show tunes and does quizzes and things. You might want to check that out. So BAI isn't all terrible and ridiculous. But back in the day, it was something else. It was like a haven for just getting on the air and having something to say and play, right? So there's a long lost, wonderful time in New York radio history. And Rosemary Reed, has done a documentary about it, playing in the FM band. And it's all about specifically this guy, Steve Post, who had a following, who has one of the great radio stories of all time, where he just wanted to use the bathroom and got locked out of the station. And you can find the story on YouTube the way he tells it. But what he goes through, because at a certain point, this mentality kicks in, if you're a broadcaster, that nothing is as important as getting back to the microphone and making sure there's no dead air. Even when you're in the most extremist of circumstances. If you want to hear a great story, funnily told, check out Steve Post on, just find him on YouTube and find his bathroom story, his microphone story. It's wonderful. Well, he used to do tons of things like that and host shows on BAI. He ran BAI for a while and almost drove him crazy. And by the way, that story has to do with when, in a veiled way, he changed the name of the station. But he was also on WNYC for many, many years. But there's a movie, Playing in the FM Band, directed by Rosemary Reed. She's going to be talking about making that movie, the other documentaries she's made, her time in radio, the amazingness of freeform radio. You don't want to miss any of this. And it's all going to be on next week's episode of the show, Dave's Gone By, our 842nd episode of the program. You'll read it here first. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. Okay, so I want to wish everyone a very happy and safe upcoming St. Patrick's Day. I also do believe I want to wish Rabbi Saul a very, very Merry Purim, because I do believe that is like in a day or two, or maybe tonight or something. It's soon. So yes, make it a happy week. Make it a good week. Don't forget to change your clocks. And don't forget that the Tonys are going to be live this year. I like to think, theater people listen to this program. I like to think somebody heard my rant months ago and said, Dave's right. There's no good reason that the Tonys should have a tape delay on, in the middle of the country or on the left coast or the right coast. Wait, which coast? Left coast. Right? Left? I don't know. Anyway, it's 3.5 hours. I'm talked out. You've been watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife, Joyce. Thank you to all of you for watching. Tell other people about the show. Please check out my website, davelefkowitz.org. That is a separate site from the radio Dave's Gone By site. If you want to read my theater reviews, if you want to read my articles and interviews that I've written, my plays, one acts and full lengths, if you want to read the lyrics to the many songs I've written, they are there at davelefkowitz.org. And by the way, if you happen to be in Hewlett, Long Island, and passing by near the train, like 2 blocks away, and you see the franchise for copying and printing and binding and silk screening called Hewlett Minuteman Press, you might want to stop in and say hi to the Torong family who run the place. They're great people. They do fine work. I'm not doing advertising for them. I'm forbidden to do advertising on this show. But if you happen to be in that part of Long Island and you happen to pass by Hewlett Minuteman Press, you might want to patronize it. That's what I'm saying. Won't go any further than that, except to wish you happy Purim, happy St. Patrick's Day, happy times, and gone by.
Days gone by, they're gone by. Days gone by, they're gone by. Days gone by, they're gone by.
We funky, you all.